Hello everyone. How are you guys doing? I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. I hope you guys are well rested. And thanks to everyone that has tuned in for this particular stream. I go by the name of Heinz, and of course, you know that we're back here to discuss to go through the transcript. Sorry, not discuss. To go through the transcript of Grace Jabbari. We will be doing a bit of back and forth discussion as well. The chat and me. But yeah, but mainly speaking, what we do here is for this series is to go through Grace Jabbari's testimony on, and this specific testimony is for the don't worry, the 7th of December 2023 last year. So um we got quite a bit. We got far in the last stream where I'm just going to provide a quick recap. Is basically where we were stopped. What we learned from the last few streams has been that Grace had explained why our ear was laceration was pretty much compared to the picture that she provided to her friend Holly Blakey, that it was pretty much closed. She explained it as being closed up after 2 hours of being found by the police, and when she sent it to Holly, that it closed up at that time, which doesn't make sense because the gash to the ear was quite massive, and over time it had closed up. On top of that, we also got to learn why she had fainted, and she testified to the reason for this being sorry, or why she was unconscious when the police had reached her, I meant to say. And she testified to this being because she had fainted in the closet, which is why the police had found her in the closet. In regard, and she also gave us more testimony in regards to why she was chasing Jonathan, and she explained this to be that she just wanted to see what was on the phone, and she wasn't quite happy about the fact that he wasn't forthcoming, which is why she was essentially chasing after him. We also got to hear her version of what happened in the car. There was a bit of inconsistencies there because when Priya had went through what happened in car one, car two, car three, which is the incidents around it, she always came across, at least in car two and car three, I can say this with definitively, that she came across as the aggressor in the situation because she has admitted to ripping off Jonathan's lapel coat. She had also admitted to trying to hold Jonathan back in with leaving the vehicle, and this could have most likely been the result of his injuries that day. She didn't admit to she didn't well, to be honest, the question wasn't really posed to her, but she didn't there was no kind of recollection in terms of her actions and what she was doing. It was all Jonathan was doing this to me. Jonathan had put his arms around put her arms around her back, to try and get the phone from her. When you hear Jonathan's side of the story in the ABC interview, this was not the case because, again, how do you explain the cuts to his face? It would make more sense and it would be more consistent that he had been, and also considering the height differences, it would make sense that she was trying to get the phone and clawing him in the process. But her explanations was lacking of this, especially in regards to the corroborating evidence of Jonathan having injuries to his face. The reason why this was corroborating is because if that happened, there is no way he would have had you in what she was describing as the hold, and then still sustain those injuries, because most likely when he retrieved the phone he would have been getting away. Would it have been seen as reactive to Grace trying to hold him back by grabbing his face? Unlikely, because we don't have any footage of that. Based on the evidence available, there is no footage showing that kind of thing. So her theory, or at least not theory, her testimony doesn't really hold up when you consider all things, especially in regards to what happened in car one. I personally I personally think that this is why the jury could not find injuries to the finger or corroborating evidence to the finger, but 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 a lot of people may have different views, and you're welcome to have them on on this channel. So that's the recap. We're gonna go straight into the transcript to also recap from there. But yeah, I appreciate every single one of you that are tuned in for today's stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, so where we stopped last time, I don't believe it was here. I think it was we were close to the cross examination, and we were close to the no, this is it. Too far down, too far down. We were close to the redirect examination. Sorry. So where we stopped last time was when she was getting into the vehicle, into and I called it last time what did I call it last? I forgot what I called it. Call it SUV for this episode. But last time I must have called it something else, not really a taxi, because I wanted to differentiate with the taxi. So I most I called it SUV, and or chaperone or whatever. And this was the difference from the taxi that I come to take Grace from the club that she was in. So I'm just bear with me as I try and find the correct page again, because I think I went too far down when I was opening this up. Yeah, so we went through that last time. They were going through what was happening in the club, the bottle of champagne, how much glasses that they had, how much glasses that she has had. She is now going through her and Chloe and the birthday celebrations. Here, so are you referring to the center of the dance floor? No, I am not. Like that. That's like the right where mirrored looking the wall is. There's a ton of tables and the area to sit. So she's now locating where she was sitting, which was by the DJ booth, and there was a birthday party going on around the DJ booth. Damn, I really went too far down. I'm really trying to find this part. Okay. And this is the hostess stand at the entrance of the Exile nightclub. So they did discuss that. That's you still drinking champagne, yes. So we did get the idea from last stream, which you can go watch on the replay. Should that interest you? And we did get the idea that she was pretty much drinking heavily champagne as well as other drinks that they were mixing together. Even though she does downplay this, I have to put it out there. It's still indicative of a behavior of someone that does have drink quite heavily. So yeah, we did get through here, and this was her trying to exit on the wrong door. That's hugging Chloe goodbye. We did go through here as well. Let me know if you can see this. If you need me to also zoom in, I can do that as well, so that I could make it much easier for you to read along, because that's what this transcript series is for you to read along, as well as share your opinions in the chat, which I encourage you to do. And I also encourage you to also like this button. If there's one thing that you could do for me on this stream, is to like the stream. That's it. Nothing else. Just like the stream, hit that like button. It really does help us out with algorithm. Smash it, destroy it, do everything in your power. So hailing for a taxi. This is a taxi. So the reason why I was making the distinction with the taxi and the SUV and both vehicles is that the option was available for Grace Jabbari to use Jonathan's ordered SUV, because it's important to know that Priya Satyani had sent a car for both of them to enjoy their evening with, and to transport all through the evening. However, they are separated. Jonathan had gone to a hotel, but the SUV was still available for Grace to use. She chose not to use it. She went with the taxi instead. And most likely the driver just went his way because both parties had dispersed to their various locations. So the driver just went home, most likely, or went to his other job. And Grace ended up using the taxi available. So I thought I made that content clear, that context clear, because pretty much because a lot of the discourse online has been going on that Jonathan did not care enough for her not to even put a car out. The truth is he didn't even tell the driver to just go home and do all those things. He went straight to the hotel, and the driver, they still offered a chance to take her home. She didn't want to go home. According to her testimony, she had she didn't want to go back to an empty place all by herself, so she decided to go with Max, Jams, and then Chloe, the people that she met on the night. So I believe this is where we stopped because they took a recess. They took a recess and they went back into the club. Damn. And okay, so yes, we have caught up now. So this is after the recess, and I think we stopped right here. So I'm gonna recap. So I believe I recapped adequately. But I will go through once again. It says, did Chloe ever send you a copy of that selfie that we saw you take with her on the dance floor on the American phone? I believe she did. Not immediately. Have we seen that photo in this case? Yes. The selfie. Oh, I don't know what she sent me a photo, one of the photos. So maybe I misspoke then. I would have to check if it was a selfie or I don't know. So that's where we stopped. The recap is now over. Just so that everyone know, please feel free to utilize the chat. Let me just quickly send you all a quick message, just so that just so that I know who is alive and who is not in the chat. But yeah, feel free to utilize the chat. Also, don't forget to to hit the like button on this stream. It will really help us with the algorithm. Thank you so much for everyone that's tuned in. Let's get back into the transcript read. Okay, so let's go. That's that. I hit the wrong button there. Apologies for that. Okay, so let's move on. It says, Ms. Jabbari, that's you entering. You took a cab from the nightclub to the apartment, correct? Yes. That's you entering, correct? Yes. We just saw you put your right hand into the pockets of your coat, correct? Either my bag or my coat. That's you walking through the lobby, correct? Yes. There's a doorman sitting there, correct? Yes. That's you getting into the elevator and you just push the elevator button with your right hand, correct? My right thumb, yes. You are holding the keys in your right hand, correct? I believe so. So your fingers are curled around the keys. I don't know. Your fingers are curled around your keys, correct? I'm holding the key with my thumb and index finger. The way you're holding it right now, yeah, let the record reflect that the witness is holding her hand up with her thumb and the rest of her fingers curled. I think her index finger was curled and the rest of the fingers was extended. She actually adjusted it as I was reading out for the record. Which one was it? Let's just make sure. So just show us exactly. I had the keys. I had the keys held and my hand was just relaxed like that. It wasn't grasped, as you could see. So what they're basically trying to establish, and it's very important here, is the youthfulness of our hands, despite the injury, because from the bruises of the photo and from what we can see from the photo, it would suggest limited use for the fingers. But however, we're seeing her proficiently using um proficiently using cards, drinks, holding stairs, etc. And even with the keys, there was no difficulty. So we don't. All we have is difficulty, and I said this on the previous stream. All we had is difficulties in the where Chloe had testified that she had complained of her finger hurting. Now, whether that was before or after she hit the DJ booth, we don't know. Because that did happen. We did see that, even though I don't have the uh video to show you. Just trust me, bro, on this. But we did. If you've seen, I do remember seeing it. When the videos was going around, and I tried to track it down on the previous stream. I still can't track it down to today. I don't know what's happened to it, but it was available when it first came out. If you guys know where it is, let me know in the chat. But this is her finger. I'm just gonna quickly show you the messages to Holly Blakey, where it does show the finger, and it's right here. So this was the finger that was supposedly had issue with, and she couldn't use it again. If it was like this, there would be some kind of difficulty when they were in the club and trying to do a lot of things that she was doing while she was in the club. So going back to the going back to the cross exam, it's as follows. Miss Jabbari, you walked out of that elevator down the hallway and into the apartment, correct? Correct. And the next time you left the apartment was with the police and paramedics, correct? Correct. Ms. Jabbari, you talked about what you did when you arrived home at the apartment, correct? Yes. You mentioned that you had taken your coat off and taken your shoes off, right? Yes. And you were wearing high boots, correct, that night? Medium high, I guess, not high. I don't know what you mean. How high up on your legs did your boots come? Not the heel size, the length of the boot? Yes. Should I show you on my leg? Yes. Maybe about to the leg where my ankle strap is. Let the record reflect let the record reflect the witness just indicated above her ankle. Is that correct? So indicated. Sorry about that. And you also testified once you returned home being in a lot of physical pain. Is that right? Yes, in a sense of in the sense of I knew I was in pain. I knew I was going to wake up in pain, just knowing how bodies work. But I was upset more with the infidelity. And this is the and this is the apartment that you have been living in for about 3 months, right? I would yeah, I would say about 3 months. And your clothes were in this apartment, correct? I'm sorry, your clothes were in this apartment. Yes. And the bathroom upstairs in which you were found contained your own personal hygiene products, right? My toiletries like that stuff. My toiletries like that stuff. Yes, yes. And you testified about taking the blue sleeping pills, right? Yes. And you said these were pills that were already in your apartment, right? Yes. And you had taken them on several other occasions, right? Yes. And these were blue pills in a white bottle, correct? I believe so. So she wanted to stay. So she wanted to stay out of the matrix. She wanted to stay in the matrix rather than go out of the matrix. Gotcha. So she took blue pills, right? Gotcha. And they were just over the counter generic pills, right? Not over the counter, just on the shelf pills from CVS. Yes, you didn't need prescription for them, right? No, anyone could buy them, I think. I'm adding your you what's been marked for identification as Defense Exhibit 138, 139, 140. Make if we could make sure not to show the jury. Do you, Ms. Javari, do you recognize what's in defense, what's been marked as 138, 139, 140? Yes, what is that? I believe that's the sleeping tablets. I haven't seen them that night, so I think so. You haven't taken them previously, correct? Yes, yeah. So I believe the reason why they couldn't show the jury is because of hearsay, most likely the writings on the medication, etc. That's most likely the reason why they couldn't show up to jury. Do these photographs depict the sleeping tablets you took that night? I believe so. Yes, I didn't take these photos. At this time, I wish I offer what's been marked as a bit into evidence. Any objection? Couple questions, Judge. Absolutely. Ms. Jabbari, do you know whether these are the type of exact type of sleeping pills? I don't know. Let me just start because I are they pills or bottles? Let me give you a copy, please. Does this pill Prayer gave the copy to the judge? Does this bottle contain pills that you took? I didn't take this photo, so they look similar. I felt impossible to say this is 100% because I did not take this photo. If that's okay to say. So we did go through this in the last stream as well. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I went too far down, and I was trying to, yeah. So last stream they were going through these preliminary questions to try and see whether this evidence will be conducive to the case. And I think they turned out to so based on the questioning, they had a discussion on the on the bench, and uh after that you can set those down, Jabbari, those pills. So they did have a discussion. I don't believe it was proffered in or brought into show to the jury, because they just moved straight on from the discussion, and they just went straight to discussing what happened on that day. So most likely this was stricken out for relevance or anything like that, because she could not properly identify these spills. So it was not most likely it was not most likely allowed in. So continuing on, it says you can set those down, Ms. Jabbari. Those pills that you did take were in medicine cabinet of the bathroom attached to the master bedroom on the third floor. Correct? This is Priya asking Jabbari. Yeah, keep all my vitamins in. Yeah, keep all my vitamins in the same place. And this is the same bathroom that's attached to the closet in which the police found you. Is that right? Yeah. And you testified that you were having trouble sleeping because you were in so much pain, right? I was really upset. He wouldn't answer the. It's not answering the question though, is it? He wouldn't answer the phone. I was upset, and then I laid down. It was really painful. So yeah, that's right. Uh, and you testified that the reason that you took the use of sleeping pills is because it was too painful for you to get comfortable, correct? Yes. Okay. And you previously testified that you couldn't sleep due to the physical pain you were in. Is that right? Correct. Yes. And you didn't go into your medicine cabinet and take any pain medications. Right? It was objected to, overruled. I don't recall whether I did or didn't. I potentially did when I woke up, but not in that moment. But you did. See, this is sidebar for a second. This is what I mean by her minimizing her testimony and all, and because she did testify to taking sleeping pills. She testified to all of that because there was pills found at the scene, and she was trying to say that it wasn't suicide. So they were like, yeah, we took sleeping. It was even established before the case even started that the sleeping pills was taken. But now she's basically saying that she doesn't even remember taking sleeping pills. Now that is conclusive that, well, you went straight to bed, so you were not having problems sleeping. But now, from what I'm reading here, it's like, oh, I decided to take the sleeping pills as an afterthought when she realized that she couldn't sleep. That she not has she posed before, because she did say in a direct examination, as she went into the house, she took the pills, she washed her face, she done all those things, went to bed, and then woke up 2 hours later or something like that, to call Holly. This is completely different from that. I just thought I pointed out, because it's really annoying me how much our story is not really in a linear fashion. I mean, no memory is perfect. I understand that, but this is completely changing the course of events that she had testified to previously, because it was quite conclusive that she took the sleeping pills before she went to bed. That's what she said. Moving back, when would that have been? uh Moving back to the cross exam anyway. Priya asked her, when would that have been? When I was awake from being woken up by the pain. See what I mean? So she was trying to sleep, she woke up from the pain, took the sleeping pills. Okay. So when did the face washing happen? That's what I would ask. But anyway, moving on. So potentially when you woke up from the pain is what time? Around 7 or something like that, or something like that, I think. So as you're texting your friend Holly, your testimony is now you went and got exactly. I'm glad she actually made that point clear. So this was likely objected because she was testifying, not really asking a question. So ask you again, is this the same time that you were texting your friend Holly? No, it would have been, yeah. I can't remember a specific time, but I can't remember it specifically didn't take a pain medication. But in general, when I was in pain, I would have taken a pain medication. Just stick to your earlier testimony. You literally said you were in pain when you're washing your face and doing all those things, you took the sleep medication, you try to go to sleep, you did go to sleep, you woke up and you message Holly. But now it's now brought out as if it's an inconsistency. Bang, 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 story change. All right. Credibility out the window, but let's see. But you have no specific memory of taking the medication. Yeah. I couldn't specify this exact time, and if I 100% did so, yeah, sorry. And you don't remember taking it before you went to sleep, correct? Right? Yes, correct. And you didn't take any pain medication to help you get to sleep, even though you were in pain. Is that right? That's correct. This is brilliant. I'm gonna tell you why in a second. And you didn't tell the district attorney at any point that you took objection as to hearsay, most likely, and it's sustained. Okay, you had met with the district attorney's office in order to give you information about this case, haven't you? I'm sorry. Can you say that again? You had met with the district attorney's office several times regarding this case, right? Yeah. And in many of those interviews, they asked you what actually happened, right? Yes. And you never told them about, that you took a objection, facts not in evidence, or mischaracterization, likely form. I have no idea. I don't think it's hearsay because she didn't say what she told them. But yeah, did you tell them? Again, sustained. I think this will go into hearsay territory. I think this is hearsay. I think this is hearsay territory. You didn't tell any of the medics you took pain medication. Objection, most likely hearsay. Did you tell the medics that you're taking hearsay? Sustained. Did you tell, when you asked at Bellevue what you are taking, you told them that you're taking 5 to 6 glasses of wine, correct? She testified to this. Uh, all right, this will be hearsay like the previous ones, but I don't know. Maybe it's not. Anyway, I don't recall what I told them. You did tell them about your alcohol consumption, right? I don't recall. But guys, if you've been following the stream from the beginning, like, I'm sure she told. Do you guys recall her telling this part? Like, I'm pretty sure I recall this. Anyway, they actually went through this in a direct. I don't know why she's saying I don't recall that conversation. Oh, no, never mind. Do you recall going to Bellevue? Yes. And do you recall telling them that you took, rephrase the question, at Bellevue when you were being examined? You told the doctors that you took blue sleeping tablets, correct? Yes, I would have. As I said, I don't really recall the conversation at Bellevue. I was very overwhelmed. The doctors took notes, correct? I don't know. I'm sorry. Just to be clear, when the police found you in the closet, you were in a lot of pain, right? Yes. Now, you told us that when you woke up, you texted your friend Holly and they spoke, and you spoke to her, right? Yes. Yes. And then we saw or we established yesterday at 11:20 a.m., the police find you and you were in a closet, right? Yeah, between the bathroom and the closet, that area. You were between the bathroom and the closet. That's what I believe was to be when they where they found me. Yes, and when the police are calling your name, the first thing that the police say to you is, "Hello, what's your name?" Correct. Those are the two questions there. Just ask one question. All right. So it was likely compound. It was objected for. The first question the police say to you is, "What's your name?" Correct. Hearsay, overruled. It's formality. I don't know why it would be hearsay, because the audio was not really allowed in. So the judge overruling on this, not really consistent in my opinion. But move on. I watched this is from what I watched yesterday. Yes. Yes. That's the first question I heard them say on on that video. Yes. You didn't tell them your name is Grace, right? I didn't answer. And the next thing the police ask you is if you could hear them, right? Officer Swain says, "Can you hear me?" Right? Yes. And the first thing you say after the police show up is, "I'm confused right now," right? Yes. And this is 11/20/19, so a few seconds after the police come, right? I believe so. Officer Swain then asks you, "You don't know why you're here," and you respond, "I remember being sick." Is that true? Yes. And Officer Swain asks, "Did you take anything?" And you respond, "No, just a sleeping tablet." Correct? Correct. So this is why the hearsay was maybe overruled, most likely because this is now an inconsistent statement. So the police, they do have to dig into the police body cam to at least the audio, to at least play some content. Or well, they didn't play it, but she could ask question in regards to that context. Maybe that's why it was overruled. And then Officer Swain asks you, did you fall asleep here? And you say, no, I was in bed, correct? Yes. Then the next thing you say at yeah, my hear us so much, I believe so. And okay, so can we approach, because most likely because they're now going away from the from the questioning in regards to the sleeping tablets into now the nature of her injuries, etc. So that's likely sustained. And you testified that you knew Mr. Majors was with the police at the time, correct? Yeah. Objection as to the time, if you could specify. At the time you were being asked these questions while you were still laying on the floor, I knew he was in the vicinity and there was police around. I didn't know his exact whereabouts. But you testified that the reason you were, in your words, alluding to what happened is because Mr. Majors was standing close by, correct? She did testify to this in direct. The reason I wasn't telling him initially about him was because I could hear him and I was scared he would be able to hear what I was saying to them. Why would you be scared of this? Why would you be scared of this? The next thing you said to them was, my ear hurts, my ear hurts so much, correct? Bear with me 1 second. Let me just turn that off. Okay. So you're drawing attention to an injury you have, correct? And that's correct. Yeah. So she said correct to the first question and correct to this one. All right. And isn't it true that 2 minutes later, sorry, at 11:22, you asked the police what's happening? I don't recall the timing, but I imagine I said what's happening at one point. Yes. And isn't it true that in response to Officer Swain asking you, sustain hearsay, and this was on the 7th, Officer Swain testified on the 8th, so this would be bringing testimony that is yet not in evidence. So it wouldn't be, I don't think it would be hearsay, but just facts not in evidence, or maybe just hearsay because he's yet to testify. So it would be hearsay on that part. But anyway, isn't it true that you said objection? No, the second part, rephrase the question, that's sustained. Isn't it true that you didn't know whether you had fallen that morning? I did know I hadn't fallen. You told the officer you didn't know whether you had fallen, correct? I remember. She yeah. So she I didn't know I hadn't fallen, but you told the officers that you didn't fall. You didn't know whether you had fallen, correct? I remember. Just wait for the sirens to say, okay, New York being New York there. Yeah, I remember saying I don't know what was going on a lot and being very overwhelmed, confused about the situation I found myself in. Part of the time, I wasn't really listening to them, and I was saying I don't know what's going on. So yeah, Ms. Jabari, the question is, you told the officers you didn't know if you had fallen. Is that true? I would have to have my memory fresh. Great. If you could please hand her the laptop at 6:31. With the video you watched yesterday, would that help refresh your recollection as to what Ms. Chaudhry asked you? Yes, it would. Ms. Jabari, while you were that was a judge asking that to Grace Jabbari. Now back to Priya. Priya says, Ms. Jabari, while you were setting that up, you are told your friend Holly a few hours earlier. Sorry, you are told your friend when you were at Bellevue that you might have fainted, right? That's what I told her. Yes. Is it in the right place? It should be at 6:31. It's not at 6:31. All right, they're going through this blah blah. I heard it. The question, okay, I heard it. The question we asked there, what was the question again? What am I listening for? Whether you told Officer Swain you didn't know if you fell. This isn't that bit. This is them looking after. Judge steps in to say, why don't you just ask a question that you want answered, and then if Mr. Jabari doesn't remember it, just show her exactly what. Yeah, okay. The question is, isn't it true that you told Officer Swain you didn't know if you had fallen? And it should be at the time of the body cam 122 616. Yeah, I don't think that's what she was shown. So show exactly that. That was what the judge said to Priya. Uh, Grace Johnson saying, "Is this is the same time? What time? 11 something? I really don't want to watch it." Whew. Okay, Danny, some point again with this one. Gonna go sidebar in a bit. Can you because she did protest heavily in regards to this part. Can you listen and confirm it is the right spot, sir? What time is that? For the record, this is Officer Swain's body one camera 1122. Okay, yeah, I heard it. Having listened to that, does it refresh your recollection of whether I said you didn't know if you had fallen? Yes. And you didn't, and you did say you didn't know if you had fallen, correct? Yes. Miss Jabari, I just want to take, I'm sorry. It's all right, you could step out. Which sidebar for a second while it right. The press made a big deal of this, of that, rather than focusing. I remember this. Rather than focusing on what was being asked of her, this was, do you remember saying to the police that you had fallen? She had already, we had already established that she told Grace Jabbari I had fainted. So what is the issue? You're saying to the police, I don't, you're saying that you don't recall saying to the police that whether you're fallen or not, etc. But you're said to Grace that you had fainted. Why would you tell the police that you, why not just tell the police, oh, I fainted? But it's clear here, and she didn't want to answer the question. She didn't want to do anything. She didn't want to answer the question. She didn't want to watch the body cam again. They run with that as, oh, this is a victim. But what this is clearly showing here, you media shields, what this is clearly showing is Grace was clearly trying to get Jonathan in trouble. Clearly trying to get him to be arrested, because end of the day, the truth of the matter is, well, I mean, according to her and based on the communications with her and Holly, that she literally just fainted. Nothing happened to her at that time, but she trying to make it look to the police that he did something to her in that time, which is why she, oh, I don't really know if I had fallen or not. But she said to Holly that no, I fainted. So why can't you volunteer the same exact information to the police? And most importantly, why didn't the media at least put this context out there that she had fainted when she was in there? No, because they know what she's trying to do, and it's in line with whatever agenda that they have. So yeah, I really hate the media reporting in this case. I really did, because what's coming out right now is quite pertinent to what the defense was trying to say, is in regards to the injuries and how she got them. That it's not possible that she could have got them from Majors, because the one major motive from saying it was Majors that done it to you today, jury, the major motive is to try and get him in trouble, even though she doesn't remember, or even though she can't ascribe this to him. There is no way you can conclusively reach the judgments that, or the verdicts that he with reasonable doubt that he actually causes injuries, because she here, the motive behind this is, I want to get him in trouble for what he did the night previously. This is how she is. Because I have no idea why you have to play up the treasures in court. Oh, I can't watch the body cam anymore. It's a simple question was asked. Did you tell the police officers? They had to ask her 3 times before she had said, and then runs out of court. She didn't do it the first time. She was fine the first time. We went through all this transcript. No problem watching the body cam over and over again. The first time in our direct, there was no issue going through all the details in that. But now she has an issue. Maybe because she's now realized, oh, I'm caught in a lie because I was trying to lie to get this guy in trouble. I wasn't actually trying to protect him. Let's go back to the testimony. Witness enters back into the court. Ms. Jabbari, there's no need to apologize. It's emotional. If you need time, just let us know. No one has any problem with that. Just let us know if you need to step out. We'll accommodate. Okay. Okay. Thank you. That's great. Grace, back to the judge. Judge says, Miss Chaudhry, Miss Jabbari, isn't it a fact that you asked the officers why does everything hurt? Yes. Isn't it a fact that after saying that you again said I'm so confused? Yes. I like how Priya has switched up our strategy here, because before you can notice a change in language. It's now becoming from did you do this, did you do this? Now is fact, fact, fact. Did this happen? Did this happen? Blah blah blah. Isn't it a fact? Because you've already testified to all these things. It's quite effective. I mean, if I was in the jury, I'll be moved by it in my and that's not because bias, because now it's getting clearer why, at least in my head, following the case, why she will be asking questions this way. Anyway, moving on. And isn't it a fact that you asked the officers what happened? I think, yeah. I think. And isn't it a fact that you asked the officers why are you here? What did he do? Referring to Mr. Majors. Yes, that's correct. And isn't it a fact that you were the first one who brought up that Mr. Majors had done something to the police? That's correct. Yes, this is an inconsistent statement again, because we she was fighting in the previous cross when this was first asked, that Mr. Majors was the one that volunteered this information, not the police. But now at least she has confirmed that yes, she volunteered to the police that he had done something. And isn't it a fact that you also then you next asked the police, did he hurt me? I don't recall that, but I remember answering with confusion but highlighting things. Would it refresh your memory? Would you refresh your recollection to listen to it? I don't really want to view that video. If that's okay, do I have to? Just re-ask the question. Isn't it a fact that you asked the police, did he hurt me? Referring to Mr. Majors. Yes. And isn't it a fact that you asked, is my ear okay? It hurts. Yes. And isn't it a fact that you told the police the last thing you remember is you were trying to sleep? Yes. And isn't it a fact that you asked the police, why am I in here, referring to the closet? I don't know what I was referring to, but I think I said that, yes. And isn't it a fact that you told the police that you and Mr. Majors got in a fight because of a text from a girl that said which we were kissing you or something, kissing or something? Objection. I wouldn't say that's hearsay. I would say that's more like a form or mischaracterization. But then again, he would have asked to ask the question again, because he didn't. Most likely hearsay. That's sustained. Let's move on. And that you said about that fight about the text. Objection. This is a continuation from the last question. That's sustained. Okay. Isn't it a fact that you referred to? Never mind. Isn't it a fact that you told the police that you didn't remember how the finger got hurt? Yes. Isn't it a fact that you told the police that Mr. Majors was grabbing your hand by gesturing, putting one hand over your other hand? I don't know. Would it refresh your correction to watch the video? Yeah, it would. What was that about the last time then? I don't want. Yeah, it would. I don't want to watch the video. You just said yeah, so you cannot watch the video anyway. I'm sorry. Sidebar for a quick second. If you watch there is a video on my channel, is a Megan Fox interview. She basically reported a real true fact that she has seen with herself, as well as people that cover legal cases, that are lawyers, that are seen with themselves. She basically said in that video, you can go watch it. It's on the channel. You can't miss it. It's a recent upload. But she basically said in that video that all these court reporters, the people that are reporting in the press, all they do is go in, sit for like an hour or two or something like that, get what they need, and then go out and print that. That does offer a lot more context to why we didn't see all this information, because as Megan Fox actually said, they don't watch it for the whole day. They don't sit in court for the whole day. They only sit for a few hours, leave, get what they need, and go. Even if they do sit for more than 2 hours, as she put, but she said even if sit for more, they would just print what is within the asserted narrative of their editor. So what you're getting is not going to be the full picture, which does explain why we didn't get all of this information. because I'm gonna add in another interview, which was with Anjanette Levy, because she did actually point out in that interview that there's a limited time, that it takes a skill to summarize everything that you have to also put into into the paper. But and it can be challenging to summarize everything into one. But I'm looking at all these questions and I'm like, you can't really, you have to look at this with an objective eye and say, and there are parts in this that you have to put into your reporting. And they didn't put these questions in, which would be, they did put in the fact that she didn't want to watch the video and she went out. They put that in because she broke down, etc. They put that in, and I'm like, why? So you heard the testimony. Why would you favor that one over another one, over this type of information that actually bring out the facts of the case? And according to Megan Fox, they are beholden for clicks and ads. So sorry, for clicks. Let me it was for clicks. So that's what the people that they're writing for are worried about. They just want clicks. So when you look at it, the most dramatic part of this whole testimony would be the fact that she did run out, and they don't tell you the context of why she ran out. They just said, oh, she just didn't want to watch the body cam, and when it was trying to pose to her, just frame it, and they did frame it as her being as Priya being too forceful towards Grace Jabbari. So when you look at all of this and you compound it together, you're like, okay, I can understand why the mainstream, why the press coverage was not as thorough or was not as including a lot of facts from the case. It was just sensationalized, and which is all fair and good. I can understand why your work is limited. I can understand why limited information is coming out. That's all well and good. But this is why no one cares for the mainstream media reporting. This is if you want the perfect example why, this is why. Because they go now to YouTube, because you do find people like myself, people like Katt, people like Danny Doslaw, who was basically the only court reporter actually reporting every single detail from the case. And as we've gone through every moment of these transcripts, everything that everything that Danny was basically saying is here word for word, verbatim. Not still misplaced. There have been errors from me. I put my hand up in the previous stream, but in terms of Danny and her reporting, nothing. Not everything was crisp. And I'm so happy that we also got to hear this side from Danny herself before these transcripts were made public. Because if we didn't hear her side and if we didn't get to see what she had to report, we would never, if this wasn't available, we would never actually believe that Jonathan was actually, let's just say it, innocent of, like it was a real miscarriage. Because everything that was coming out of that, I mean, the verdict does suggest that as well, because I mean, based on the videos and all that and the evidence alone, without even our reporting, the evidence alone would have suggested that. But we would never have seen the intent behind Grace's actions to try and get Majors arrested. That little nuance speaks volumes to why she would twist her story a little bit in court, so that he can actually, so that what she was trying to achieve on that particular day can play out in a legal setting and have him convicted of a charge she knows fully well. She knows fully well he was not responsible for. Because again, the fact remains, based on what we just read, the fact remains. She did not tell she told the police, I don't know what happened to my fingers. I don't know what happened to, like, the ear part. She did actually tell the police this part, because this is what Officer Hansen testified to. She actually told the police that he had hit her in the ear, causing the laceration, and strangled her. That was actually only Victoria Bikimpis, as I remember, was the one that was actually reporting that fact. Who was so she actually put that out in a tweet. So that intent is very important, because we've now read there's no way that Majors could have caused the ear laceration. No way. and we've also and based on all the evidence, there's no way he should have been convicted, because you can't tie him to those injuries. And I believe that's what the defense was trying to do, rather than plead self defense, which they, yes, they would have won. But I think whatever happened, and they didn't get this message across, at least you get to see it, because based on Grace's own words at the time, there is absolutely no way that you can say that Jonathan was responsible for it, and there's enough motive here to say that she twisted what happened so that he can go through what she wanted him to go through in getting the arrest through. Anyway, Blue Queen TV, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. Hey everyone. That's what she says. She says, "Hey everyone. Hey Blue Queen, welcome to the stream." Make sure that you utilize also the chat. Let me know how you're feeling it. Let me know if you like this, the way that I'm approaching this. Do you think I'm being biased? Do you think I'm being unreasonable towards in my read? Do you think I'm, you feel free to speak your mind, because I can, believe it or not, I can actually handle it. And also I would like to know as well my performance, because sometimes I have watched back some videos and I'm like, okay, that was maybe a stretch. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you do sound really profound. But yeah, and also don't forget to like this stream. If there's one thing you can do for me, do this one thing for me and smash that like button. It really does help with the algorithm. And yeah, let's go back into the testimony of Grace Jabbari. And Miss Priya Chaudhary is asking, sir, if you could please show her the officer swearing body will come one camera at 11:25. While he cues that up, Ms. Jabari, isn't it a fact that you were demonstrating that you were demonstrating by using? Let me read that again. Sorry about that. While he cues that up, Ms. Jabari, isn't it a fact you were demonstrating by using gestures to the police what happened in the car? I don't remember. Sorry. Ooh, sorry about that. I don't remember. Sorry. So this opens the door to actually bring that out. To actually bringing the body cam audio, so that's or video, so that you can remember it. Then we'll wait. Ms. Jabari, do you need a moment? I don't know if I'll be able to do it, so I might as well let's get on with it. Maybe it's not affecting you as you're trying to act it out. Ms. Jabari, does that help refresh your recollection? Yes. Isn't it a fact that you demonstrated to the police that Mr. Majors was grabbing you by placing one hand over the other hand? Yeah. And isn't it a fact that you told the police that Mr. Majors was pushing your head? Is that right? Yes. The problem with the questions is which time. We have 3 instances in the car, and we're getting there. We should be there already. Oh, okay. Okay. So establish that. So that's what the judge is basically trying to let Priya know. Isn't it a fact that you told, first of all, isn't it a fact that you told the police that you couldn't work out where your ear hurts? Why your ear hurts? Yeah, that's true. Exact. You see what I mean? Disregards the ear, disregards the finger. So what on earth? This is contemporaneous evidence at the time. What on earth did the jury find that says that Jonathan did this? Did they guess from looking at the video? Because you can't conclude that her getting put back into the car, okay, fine, she hit it. That's the back of the head, if anything. But we saw no injury to the back of the head, which is why I said if he got off with an harassment charge, the violation, that's actually understandable. The way that the law is written on harassment, it doesn't have to cause an injury. It has to be pushed, shoved, whatever. And that's sidebar. And that's what exactly happened on that CCTV. So if they wanted to do that, that would have been the case. And again, with the way that the charges were levied, it kind of makes sense why Nate Lawyers says that it would be an inconsistent verdict at this point, because the aggravated harassment is the same as the reckless assault, which means this case really and truly should have boiled down to should have really boiled down to just either the aggravated harassment or the harassment charge. If you couldn't find the aggravated harassment, but you find for assault, then clearly you did not understand what you were looking out for. because everything is telling me he should have been guilty of the harassment violation. That's what everything is telling me. If you were to conclude on the video getting the hair in the head, that's not the ear, mate. That's not the ear. There's no way you can prove that's the ear that getting hair on the head on the video. If that's what you saw, could conclude, okay, that cut the ear. Nothing like that. There's nothing for you to even go by outside of Grace's testimony in the car. And let's say they even disregard Grace's testimony, even if you believe it without and say Grace is telling the truth despite the inconsistencies, fine. But her words to the police, I don't know why my ear hurts, and you're hearing her say that she recalls doing all these things, etc. But then tell the police, I don't know why my ear hurts. That's conclusive that at the time she did not believe may just causes injury, but she's now sitting here in court telling you may just causes injury. I want to know why the jury convicted the way they did. I would have understood without a shadow of a doubt the harassment violation. That actually, everything that I'm seeing here meets it. In my opinion, it meets it. But I'm glad that there is an inconsistency with being, at least according to Jonathan Major, Nate the lawyer, in regards to the reckless assault and the aggravated harassment, saying that they're basically the same charge and they could argue for a new trial based on that. If that's the case, then that tells you that that it should have been at least harassment, aggravated harassment and violation harassment, not assault. Anyway, no reckless assault. Moving on. I don't think, reading the transcript, there's no way they prove that. There's no way to prove that, because end of the day, we still learn that she volunteered to the police officers that what Majors had done. We still learn that because it's all over body cam. It's now in testimony based on her acceptance. So how did you arrive at the fact that Grace was trying to protect him when we know that that wasn't the case? She still told him what Jonathan did, and her even, which goes against her because she's saying I don't remember, because she's now saying that she told her that you couldn't work out why your ear hurts. Bearing in mind she went to sleep and she was awake speaking to Holly. She should have an idea. If she wasn't drunk, by the way, she should have an idea, because she said she wasn't drunk. I don't know how the jury reached this verdict. I'm being honest with you. Honest, completely honest. Well, at this point, Your Honor, I would like to play Defense Exhibit 202, which is the portion that's in evidence when the EMT comes in. It's not in. Isn't it a fact, after speaking to the police for a while, the medics came and interviewed you? I believe so, yes. And they were asking you the sources of your injury to help. They were asking about the sources of your injuries, correct? I believe so. Your Honor, at this time, I offer what was been marked as Defense Exhibit 202, which is, as Your Honor as previously ruled in, is the portion of the body-worn camera where the EMT interview Ms. Jabbari. 202 is where the people consider to write the small piece. Yes, it was the people have seen it, and you have no objection to it being moved into evidence. Can we approach? Sure. The prosecution approaches. Your Honor, again, I offer what's been marked as okay. So there was no objection. It's now going. So we're not going into the EMT's questioning of Grace in regards to injury. This is going to be very important, most likely, because again, this is a code read, so I don't know what's going on. Everything is reactionary. Let's go on. Ms. Jabbari, in that clip we just saw the medics, you told the medics that you remember being sick, and it's in the sheet, which is disgusting, correct? Yes. By that you were referring to the bed sheets, correct? Yes. And you had in fact pulled the bed sheets off the bed because you had been sick in them, correct? I don't recall doing that, no. But you did tell them that you had been sick in the sheets. Yes. And so you leave the, was it vomit that was sick in the sheets? I don't understand what you mean by that. When you say I remember being sick in the sheets, what were you referring to? Yes. Vomit? Yes. Okay, so it wasn't her being that's a distinction, not her feeling sick, but more of vomiting on the bed. That was in the sheets of the bed, correct? Yes. Miss Jabari, isn't it true that you, after the medics questioned you, which is what we saw, you told Officer Swain again, you don't know? Objection to hearsay. Is that, let me hear the question. You, okay, so reading back again the question again. Ms. Jabari, isn't it true that you, after the medics questioned you, which is what we just saw, you told Officer Swain again, you don't know, that after this, you still said you didn't know whether you had fallen into the closet? Objection sustained, most likely. Yep, hearsay. Sorry, I'm sniffling. Okay, isn't it a fact that after you still said you didn't know why you were in a closet? Okay, I don't know why that's sustained, but isn't it a fact that you still didn't know why you were? Asking the same question again. Anyway, moving on. Isn't it a fact that you said you didn't know what movement caused your injuries? What was the question? You didn't know what movement caused your injuries. That's sustained. It's hearsay. It's hearsay because I don't think the paramedics testified. That's for one. Two, it would be hearsay what she told them because they were not necessarily treating her at that moment. So it would be they didn't necessarily treat her at that time. So most likely it wouldn't fall under the medical exception. Even if it did, I actually wouldn't know. That part is a bit complicated for me to actually comment on. So out of it, hearsay is complicated anyway. Moving on. Isn't it a fact that, sorry, while the police questioned you in the closet at 11:31, you told Officer Swain you didn't know what exact movement caused your injuries? Yes. Okay. Right. Okay. And isn't it a fact at 11:31 you told Officer Swain I didn't know what happened to my finger? It was already in earlier. Anyway, overruled. Good judge. Can you repeat the question? Isn't it a fact that at 11:31 you told Officer Swain that you didn't know what happened to your finger? Yeah. The bottom line is the people can redirect all of this, especially again, it's the time periods here. But you could redirect on all of this, which is fair, because sorry about that. Yeah, which is actually fair because what they're trying to do is trying to establish a timeline. So in regards to what she said and at what time, it wouldn't really matter to a certain extent what she was volunteering to the police because redirect will clean up all of this. And isn't it a fact that you told Officer Swain at 11:32 that all your injuries were sustained at the second time you got in the car? I don't recall that. would it would it reflect your recollection to listen to the video? Yes, I guess so. If you could queue up Officer Swain's body one testimony, I haven't listened 11:32:41. I haven't listened to that. Does it refresh your recollection? Does it reflect your recollection? Yes. And isn't it a fact that you told Officer Swain at 11:32 that your injuries were sustained the second time you got into the car? No, I didn't say that. Well, I don't hear myself say that. Please, this sidebar for a second. This answer could, and I mean, at this moment, I don't know what's going to happen later on, but it could open up the door for the audio to come in for the jury to hear. If she answers like this one more time, I think it could. And I think it should have because no, I didn't say that. What do you mean? No, you didn't say that. Is that an inconsistent statement then? Because I would have, if I was Priya at this point, I would be going straight to the judge and be like, let's get this audio in. She just told the jury something that's not in the audio. So please let's get in this part in just for completeness. Let's hear let the jury hear this because her saying it happened the second time completely rules out the first time. I'm sorry, but if prayer doesn't do that in the next 2 minutes, I'll be very pissed. Anyway, back to the testimony. Isn't it a fact that you said that after you found the people who footed who footed you the taxi and you got in a car, Mr. Major switched and grabbed you and caused the injuries? What I just heard, excuse me, is that we were driving back from the restaurant in Brooklyn to here. I saw the message. We got into a fight, and that's everything I just heard. I don't know if I heard the right bit. Approach. Priya, just approach. I don't know, maybe it's different, but she's giving Priya so much ammo to go to the judge and say this bit can come in. I'm only using the basis of Megan Tory, because that trial allowed the testimony that was locked out for hearsay, not just hearsay as well, but but mainly because of the fact that it was going to be very prejudicial to Tory Lance's case. Sidebar, because it was going to be very, very prejudicial to Tory Lance's case. So with that, with Tory Lance's defense pushing hard against Kelsey, basically saying that she wasn't saying this to the prosecution, that the prosecution were going hard to solicit answers on her, etc., and they were asking unfair questions. That's what they were saying. This opened the door for the prosecution to argue that the tape comes in. The tape actually came in because of these questions and the answers that was being given by Kelsey at the time. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, approach, please, approach, please, because this would have likely brought in the tape so that you can hear it. And I firmly believe this would be a completely different case if she did say that. Because if she did say that, because we don't know now, all that good work could have been undone at this very moment. Because now the jury is like, well, are we sure that everything that we heard? Well, I mean, Grace attested to it, but this part would have been, oh, was Grace actually then protecting, if this is what she was saying? Was Grace actually protecting Majors by not offering what she, all the information upfront and just offering parts? Was she? I hope there's an approach and the judge overruled it. Overruled Priya. I hope that's the case here. Moving on. Testimony. Did it play until? Okay. Do you want me to listen to it again? I think it's a longer than you did before. I still don't hear it. I'm sorry. It says we're going to judge. If it doesn't refresh your memory, the question, that's fine. That's the problem with this. I could tell you what I heard. No, it's okay. Attention has to be drawn specific instances of whatever you're trying to get at, and I don't think it's being done that way. So go ahead. Isn't it a fact that you said that after you got back into the car, Mr. Majors grabbed you and caused these injuries? Sustained hearsay. Isn't it a fact that you claim hearsay? Isn't it a fact you said that your injuries were sustained after you got in a car after meeting the people in the street? That's not what I just heard. I'm sorry if that is what I heard. I'm a bit confused. Do you want me to listen again? Yes, if you could please listen at 11:35:05. Can I say what I hear? Your Honor, we object to ask and answer at this point. Ask the question one more time. Be specific with the question and the time period, and just make sure Ms. Jabbari is shown precisely what question is asking, and manage the judge to Priya. All I'm doing is listening, and I could just tell you what I've heard. That's what we don't want. Just ask your specific question, have him play specifically what Ms. Jabbari needs to hear. Okay. Yeah, because you're basically reading the facts and the contents into the evidence rather than using it to recollect your own memory. Isn't it a fact that at 11:33:01 you said that when you got back in the car, Mr. Major switched, grabbed you, and caused these injuries? Which time we had 1, 2, and 3. So that's why it's confusing. Car 2. Yeah, no. Then I don't think that's true. If that's what bit I just played, then I didn't say that. Your Honor, I would like to ask one more question, then approach. No, approach now. I'm glad she's going for the approach. I'm actually glad because I know what's coming. But it would be better if she approached at this point, because that is the right opening. This is the open goal. If you play soccer, this is the open goal. If you play soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, this is an open goal. Just shoot, because it's right here for a taking. If she's denying hearing that, okay, isn't it a fact that 11:32:41 you told Officer Swain that in-car incident 1, Mr. Majors got angry and you got out of the car, and after that you met these people? Objection overruled. Do you remember that? Code overruled. I don't remember. Can you please play? Can we approach, Your Honor? Yes. So they discussed it. Please, I'm hoping the video camera comes in. I'm hoping the audio comes in, because if the audio comes in for this bit, it should destroy every ounce of credibility that Grace had. And in all honesty, this part could go right in if it didn't get overruled on, if it got sustained, as in the prosecution won the sidebar. In all honesty, this part can be used to for the appeal. Sidebar, 1 second. This part can be used for the appeal because well, this is establishing the facts of the case, and the jury could only rely on the facts of the case. If the facts of the case were unduly kept out by the judge, then that's a good grounds for appeal, especially when it comes to this. If the judge could have allowed this audio that would set the record straight for the jury to say, you know what, she did actually say this at this point, and she's now denying it, and that should have come in to actually show that she did actually say that. If that's the case and the judge denies that, that's a great grounds for appeal. In my opinion, I've never been in this situation. Appeals are hard to win anyway, but that would have, in my opinion, been a lot of cause to at least have the jury believe, no, they have been testifying that it happened in car one all this time. Her direct testimony was dependent on this. If she then told them at an earlier time that actually it was car two, that should be doubt. In my opinion, that should be doubt. But and I really want to see what the judge says in this. Daisy Bow, welcome to the stream, popping. Hey, I'm glad that you popped in at all. Just hit that like button while you're here. It would really help with the algorithm, etc. And that and everyone as well, please hit that like button. Also, please share this stream. If there's anything you would do for me, it would really help if you can do those things, and those normal YouTube things. And yeah, let people know about this stream, because if you're just joining in right now, we have been going through the transcripts, and we have shown why, and we also went through why the media has not been reporting a lot of these things, a lot of these facts that could have really, that is compelling in my opinion, but we have been sharing why the media has not been reporting that. So you can go back and watch that on replay. We already go through that earlier. I don't want to really rehash this, but we referenced the interview that I did on the channel with a correspondent at Law and Crime, and also Megan Fox, who is an investigative journalist at PJ Media. So I'm really happy that I have those interviews for you guys to actually go back and watch, to see how the media operates when they're reporting on trials of this magnitude. Although that was done in a case of Depp v. Heard, the template is the same. You can really apply that much here. Daisy Bao goes on to say the judge discretion is trash, and they played no audio of Grace Jabbari to the jury. She only got to listen with her headphones. Now, I don't know what the ruling is for the next part of the transcript that we're about to read. What she's saying is true though, because Grace Jabbari did listen to most of it in the transcripts. But where we are right now, they are approaching so that the jury can hear it, because Grace actually did deny telling the police, and I believe the prosecution, I believe the police or prosecution, but she denies telling them that Jonathan caused her injuries on the second car two. They called it taxi, but like I said, this one would be the SUV. It's not a taxi of her going home, but it would be the SUV of where she actually testified that she was trying to get back into the SUV, and then Jonathan had put her hand on her right arm. And again, I remember reading this from Priya Chowdhury's letter to the judge to have the case thrown out, and of course it's been undercut completely by the CCTV. Again, she was making these statements to the prosecution, most likely prosecution at this point, yeah, or the police, whichever one. Doesn't really matter. She was making these statements before seeing the CCTV. And I think if this came in, if the judge decides to rule any other way other than please come in, Jonathan has great grounds for appeal, because this is, in my opinion, you know, a it could be case changing in terms of establishing doubt. But again, it's very hard, especially on evidentiary matters. It is very hard because it's not conclusive whether one piece of evidence could change the entire case or anything like that. But I think this one is quite big in context of everything, because if she's saying that the injuries happened in car 2, then I mean, how reliable was this witness to say it was Jonathan that actually done these things? You know. But anyway, moving on. Ms. Jabari, isn't it a fact that at 11:32 you told Officer Swain? So this was at the time while the arrest was happening against Jonathan in the penthouse, that in the car on the way back from Brooklyn. So this would be the car incident 1. You saw a text message and you got into a fight and Mr. Majors got angry. Objection, judge, you got out of the car, overruled. I believe so. And isn't it a fact, 11:33:01, you told Officer Swain that you didn't know Mr. Majors found you, but you then got back into the car, and in the car he switched and grabbed you. Isn't that a fact? I don't believe that's a fact from what you just played me. I'm sorry. So the judge denied her bringing the audio in. Damn. All right, let's see what happens on appeal. I would throw that in there because that's pretty. I would throw that in there. If the judge says no, we're not playing that, whew, I would throw that in there for the appeal, because that discretion would be an abuse. That's an inconsistent statement. If the audio does actually say the words that was put to her and she denied it, that's inconsistent statement. That's straight hearsay exception. That would be clear abuse of discretion, because they didn't follow the law in regards to hearsay. But anyway, moving on. Would you like to hear it? She said it's not a fact. Your Honor, at this time, we would, I think she said, I don't know. All right, go ahead. Move on, go ahead. Would we be able to play with audio now? No, I don't think the foundation has been laid. Okay, so understanding with this, she was told, yes, they could play the audio, just lay a foundation. Ms. Jabari, isn't it a fact that okay, so that does rule out the appeal. Sidebar for a second. I don't think the judge would have been very dumb to actually not allow it to come in, but I think the compromise was made. As long as she lays a foundation, the audio can comes in. So the judge wants to see it reflected from the record that the witness had appropriate, or at least from what my opinion, let me put it like this, it's just my opinion. I don't know if I don't know it's for a fact. I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, but my opinion is the judge wants to see an adequate foundation for the record, so that he can protect himself, at least on appeal, that he didn't do anything wrong by denying or bringing in the audio, because there'll be a cross appellants at this point, but he's trying to protect himself. So by laying a foundation and giving her enough chances to deny or accept, they can then play, okay, cool. He had no choice but to bring it in because she kept denying, or with that adequate foundation and with enough context, you can understand as an appellate judge trying to decide whether this case was unduly tried. Anyway, so that's all I got. Hit the like button, bye guys. Okay, bye. Back to the testimony. Ms. Jabari, isn't it a fact that at 11:33:01 you told Officer Swain that after Mr. Majors came down the street and after you got back in the car? Objection, let I finish the question. The judge says to Perez, you started asking Mr. Majors about the text messages and he switched and grabbed you. It's sustained. So that's hearsay. Priya, just lay the foundation. Which time was this? After you got out of the car the first time. So this would be Katt's car scene 2. I don't know. I'm really confused. I'm sorry. I don't believe so. From what I heard, I don't think so. I'm not sure at this point. Poor, it's just poor laying. It's just poor laying of the foundation at this point. Priya really has to really make things a lot clearer now, so that she can really bring this audio in. Ms. Jabbari, you got in a car with Mr. Majors that night. There was 3 car scenes, right? After the restaurant, yes. And isn't it a fact that you've told this jury that the injuries you have sustained were from car 1, correct? I believe that to be true. Yes. Yes, that's your entire case. That is because that's the only one that the cameras show you doing show him doing anything. But let's continue, because this is where it gets interesting. That is before you got a car, correct? Well, as I said previously, one of them was also while I was at the car and he lifted me. Yes, yes, we heard that. And that was all related to car 1, correct? Correct. And isn't it the fact that at 11:33:01 you told Officer Swain that after you got out of the car and after you got back in the car, Mr. Majors grabbed you? Objection again, Judge, I'm confused. Right. Was this the first time, second time, or third time? Prayer. I do understand she is not, she has to do a better job here. Isn't it a fact that you told Officer Swain at 11:31:01 that the second time you got in the car after you found people on the street, that's when you were arguing with Mr. Majors about the text, and that's when he switched and grabbed you? I'm going to object as to form. Overruled. It could move on. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That answer just destroys everything, because now they can't bring the audio in. Technically, because she says yeah in there as well. Will it refresh your recollection to listen to it? No, because what I heard is right there. So I'm a bit confused. Like I said, I could do word for word if that helps. No, she's trying to bring the audio in, but I think this is sidebar for a second. I think that this is a coach. She's been coached. She's been really prepped for this, because everything here is designed to make them go in circles until the judge steps in and say, Priya, you didn't do enough. You didn't do good. So I'm gonna overrule. Sorry, I'm going to overrule on you bringing the audio in. I think she's been prepped to do this, because she knows she can't say a word for word. It will be hearsay. And she also know that if she just, it's my opinion, but I think there is a way that Priya could have asked these questions. It's like, maybe I have no idea. I have no idea. In my opinion, I have no idea. But I think she's been really well prepped to know how to handle each and every one question based on the evidence that they have from the from the first interview to the cameras to everything, so that she knows how to maneuver this bit. Because this is the fact that she keeps asking, I could just say word for word, is basically like she knows it's hearsay. Back to the testimony. Isn't it a fact that at 11:33:25 you told Officer Swain that Mr. Majors just grabbed you on your hands and on your face? Can you repeat that? Sorry. Yes. Isn't it a fact that at 11:33:25 you told Officer Swain that Mr. Majors just grabbed you on your hands and face? Just grab me, like as in that's the only thing? Can I guess? Is this something I should listen to? Is this a different part? What time is this? Told you. Prepped. You know the time. It's been said to you. It's been proffered to you. 11:33:25. When you told Officer Swain that Mr. Majors grabbed you just on your hands and face, I don't recall. I don't know. Would it refresh your recollection to listen? Is it the same bit that I just listened to? No. Then yes, it would. I don't need to see it. You played it. I think I need it again. I didn't hear anything. Yes, I heard it. Okay. Isn't it a fact that you told Officer Swain at 11:33:25 that Mr. Majors grabbed you on your hands and your face? That's a fact. That's what I said. Yes. Isn't it a fact that at 11:23? Sorry, can I go back? I said like yeah, just on my like yeah. I'm being casual. That's what I said. Isn't it a fact that 11:33:28 you told Officer Swain that Mr. Majors grabbed you on your hands and your face? I guess so. Yes, that should be asked and answered, but sure. Um, and and isn't it a fact that at 11:33:45 that you told Officer Swain that you were being dramatic in a text that you sent Mr. Majors when you got home? Yes, I recall saying that. Isn't it a fact that at 11:36:44 you told Officer Swain that you were so confused and you didn't know why you woke up in the closet? Probably, yes. Isn't it a fact that 11:50:48 you said to Officer Lucero that you didn't realize how much you used your fingers until you hurt them? Sound like something I would say. Isn't it a fact that while you were being questioned by the police, you didn't mention your arm being twisted behind your back? Hearsay, clearly. Isn't it a fact that, I don't know, Priya, man, you should have done a better job laying this out, because we completely sidetracked from the fact that she told that inconsistent statement that she made earlier. You can't go back to it now. It's really confusing. But now we just move. Isn't it the fact that when you were demonstrating the gestures of what happened with Mr. Majors, you never demonstrated a gesture of your arm being sustained? That's most like your objection. Ms. Jabbari, after the police took you from the apartment, you filled out a domestic incident report with Officer Lucero, correct? Sorry, would you ask me that again? I'm really pissed about that with Priya, man. I'm really pissed about that. All you have to do was lay the foundation. After the police took you out of the apartment, you went with Officer Lucero, correct? Not just him and others, yes, but all members of either the fire department or police department, correct? And a medic, I think, as well. And you stated when the police were questioning you when you were in the closet, the way you spoke was partially because you were afraid of Mr. Majors, right? Yes. And by 12:15, when you left with the police and the medics, Mr. Majors was not there, correct? He had been arrested, and you knew that, right? At that point, I was made aware. And at that time, at 12:15, Officer Lucero helped you fill out the form called a domestic incident report, correct? Perhaps I don't completely remember that. Ms. Jabbari, I'm handing you what's been marked as for identification as defense exhibit 507. If it's not exhibit to say yes, you said that in the taxi, then just put it away. Because I'm sorry, but the case, sidebar, the reason why I'm really angry about that is because the case really hinged on her being car one. If she said something about car two, uh, we know what happened in car two. She was the one being aggressive. So that's not only a massive Darvo that's being played out right in front of our eyes. It would have been enough to just be like the jury, whatever shred that they were trying to, whatever rope they were trying to give her, it's gone at that point. So I have no idea. I mean, let me just read the chat quickly. Daisy Bao says, Priya is doing all she can. Grace Jabbari is playing dumb. Yeah, but she has to defend herself at the same time. She is in court. She is in court. You have to do whatever you can so that this guy that you're trying to put in prison actually goes to prison. And that's what she was trying to do. Based on every evidence, I have no doubt that all she did was just finish a job that she was trying to do from the start, and she succeeded. And I think, I don't know what Priya, I have no idea how else Priya, because I'm not experienced. I've never been in a courtroom in my life, so I can't say for certain what more Priya could have done to lay a foundation. But the judge didn't tell her to move on to the next question. There was no instruction. She could have just literally just asked different questions. She was being a difficult witness, as she should be difficult. Every witness has a right to do as they can, and I know she was being fickle. I know she was being difficult, and I know for a fact she was really prepped to be evasive. But there is always a way to really solicit that answer from her, and it would have been very, in my opinion, I think a question of, are you denying that you said, and read it back to her, are you denying this for a fact? Are you denying this for a fact that you said in car 2, blah, 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 blah? And then see what happens. If she says, no, I'm not denying that, but I did not say that, or something like that, approach to the judge. I don't know, but that's just my view. I personally think that could have been better handled, but hindsight is 2020. Of course, I wasn't there. I don't know what I would. I probably would have been crying and sucking my thumb like a baby in a court or something like that. I have no idea. I have no idea what we're doing in that position. I have no idea what pressure you're under as a lawyer. I'm just saying there was a massive open goal here. That's what I'm saying. Back to the cross examination. Have you reviewed what's been marked as defense exhibit 507? Yes. And you recognize it to be the form that you filled out in your own handwriting with the police? Yes, I believe we did it at the hospital. At the hospital? Yes. And that's your signature. So she was at the hospital for 5 hours. Then, if this was done at the hospital and it was 12:15, okay, fair enough. Let's just go. Let's just move on. Yes, and that's your signature on this form. Yes, one of them is mine. And is it a true and accurate copy of the portion of the form that you filled out and signed? I assume so. Is that your handwriting? Yes. Your Honor, at this point we would offer what's been marked as defense exhibit 507 into evidence. Judge, this is hearsay. People object. Under what theory? Just ask. I just ask the questions, Miss. So there was the judge says there was no theory for you to object as to hearsay. It was all done medically. It wasn't done to offer the truth of anything, which is what hearsay would be. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's just a form that she filled out. Ms. Jabbari, this is a statement that you made under penalty of jury, correct? No one informed me about that. It does say false statements made herein. It's punishable class A misdemeanor pursued under penal law. Yes, this is why it was allowed in, because technically those wouldn't be hearsay. Technically, it's a court statement. Technically, I mean, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. It could be used in court. I don't know. They do tell you this. They do. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I actually don't know at this point. But I do feel like statements you make to the police and those official bodies, they have a much easier window of getting in to court and bypassing the hearsay objection. Yes. You did write this in your own handwriting, correct? Yes, I did. And what you said on March 25th at the hospital with Officer Lucero, when you wrote down in your handwriting, is, officer, objection, you can't just read a document into record. Come up. Yes, you can. Well, I hope the judge says yes, you can, and sends them back down. But they're up for they're up to the bench, and they're gonna go back now to test to ask more questions. So Priya asks, isn't it a fact that you said that you woke up in the closet on the police floor? Objection as to form. Judge again overruled. When and when? At the hospital when you were with the police, isn't it a fact that you said that? Okay, so just for record, it says, isn't it a fact that you said that you woke up in the closet on the floor to the police? So this was the answer. I don't know if I said it like that. I can't remember. Is it a fact that you wrote that? Yeah, I wrote down there. Isn't it a fact that you also wrote you don't remember being sick? That you remember being sick, but you didn't know why you were in the closet? Objection. Most likely hearsay or form actually. This would be more likely form. Don't ask her about the writing. Okay, so it's hearsay. Isn't it a fact that you said you remember being sick, but you didn't know why you were in the closet? I don't remember what I said very much when I was at the hospital. Are you holding the document? Does she have it? I have it. Just read that. And would that refresh your recollection? Yeah. So Grace and the judge finished discussing whatever they were discussing, and Grace goes on to say, but this was something, yeah, but this was something I can maybe describe it later, but it's like I was over the skeleton of what happened, as I was worried that he would get in more trouble if I wrote down to the full extent. You did not care if this man got in trouble. Can we just get over it, please, man? At this point, you had already spoken with the officers in the closet, correct? I had, yes. Yes. So you didn't care because everything you said to the officers is clearly untrue based on the. And you had already told them that Mr. Majors had caused your injuries, correct? You didn't allude. I alluded to it as I felt uncomfortable to do so. You didn't allude to anything. You blurted it out. You basically said to the officers, yes, my ears, he bashed me into the ear, he choked me. You said this. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. There was strangulation charges orders. How do you take this person seriously? I'm so sorry. Well, you demonstrated to them ways in which Mr. Majors was grabbing you, correct? Yes, I alluded to some of the ways he had hurt me. And you said that he caused the injury to your ear and your finger, correct? He did cause the injury. No, you said you didn't know. No, you said, oh my gosh, we just went through this. She said, I don't know. She's told them, I don't know how I got this. I don't recollect how I caught this. And now you're saying you told them that you did? And after that, you made this statement, correct? At the hospital? At the hospital, after learning he had been arrested, after not having much sleep or too much food. Oh, now you're saying you're dazed and you can't recollect. Well, okay, fair enough. Isn't it the fact that at the hospital you said you had a dispute with your partner the previous evening, some pain on finger and behind here. Objection. We've moved from that not in this. Is that the DRR? I don't know what DRR is. Forgive me for not knowing that. Yes, it's the last line, Your Honor. Who was that statement meant to precisely? Prior response to the judge saying you made the statement to Officer Lucero at the hospital. Isn't that a fact? Yeah, I find that confusing, as in it was just like a statement. They said, look, we can't leave without you having a little bit of a statement. I think they said you don't have to write anything. I can't recall the conversation, but I wrote a very slimmed, narrow version. I think it's 2 or 3 sentences about what I felt comfortable putting on the paper at that moment. Fuck off, man. Oh, fuck off. I can't believe she's still going with this defense of it's I don't know. Well, how did the jury fall for this? How did the jury fall for this? Let me go to the chat sidebar for a second. Is she welcome to the stream? Welcome back. I appreciate you joining one more time. Is it fair to say that the judge handicapped defense and Priya was playing with only what they was allowed to present? Yes, I wouldn't handicap the defense. Would be a matter based on what I read here. I do think that the judge made as much compromise as he could, because if I'm using the example of of Priya trying to get in the audio, because again, Grace actually did deny that. She never said that all these things were happening in Car 2 that happened in Car 1. So Grace was denying this when it was being read back to her from what she was listening to in the audio. It was being read back to her. She's saying, no, I did not say that. No, I did not say that, because obviously it destroys that case. But the judge actually said, if you can lay a foundation, I can bring it in. In my opinion, I thought the judge was actually just giving himself enough rope so that this case doesn't get overturned on appeal, because decisions like that would 100% could go anyway in the appeal. But with the foundation that she was given to lay, she didn't, in my opinion, she didn't do an adequate job doing it. Grace was very evasive, as she should. But there was a way to pin her down, and I don't think Priya Chowdhury actually pinned her down properly, in my opinion. So to answer the question, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say it's a fair characterization to say that the judge handicapped the defense. You can argue the rules, maybe handicap the defense, but they're meant to do that anyway. Well, they're meant to be fair for all parties. But if Jonathan had pleaded differently, most of this evidence would have come in. It would even be a question. It would have been like self-defense. It's like having a Grace versus Jonathan without Grace having to be charged as well. You understand? in my opinion, and judging from how Nate, the lawyer, broke down what a self-defense would entail on the last stream that he jumped in on. I believe that was part 5, I believe, or part 5 of part 6. But he basically explained that had he had pled self-defense, most of these things would have come in. So it would have been a more open case, because if he pled self-defense saying, yes, I did it, but this was why, all of these things would then become material, and the judge would allow a lot of things in that would show, okay, he had enough cause to act in self-defense, but he didn't plead that. So it does limit him to what can be allowed in. The audio cannot be allowed in because of I believe that was more to do with prejudice towards the prosecution. So that wasn't allowed in for hearsay reasons for that reason. And plus, Grace was testifying. So if Grace chose not to testify, that audio would have been allowed in, and they would have most likely have to, make their case through there. So no, I don't believe that the judge was handicapping the defense, in my opinion. The judge let the prosecutor get all their evidence in. Priya was playing against the setup. I don't know. I mean, if you're referring to the evidence in regards to the text messages, then yeah, you can argue should they have been allowed in the first place, etc. If Priya had opened the door, it becomes a question for the appeals to see if it was a right judgment, and if Priya really did open the door to allow that in. A lot of people, and I would tend to, I have nothing else to base it on, but Danny did say there was not enough for the door to be open for those text messages to come in as foundational. But I believe it's in reference to all of this, right? All this questioning, all of those questioning that she was doing on what she was saying to the police and all this. This is likely why those text messages came in. This is likely. So would it be enough? I don't think it's enough. I mean, based on what I just read in regards to the taxi and all that, you can actually argue abuse of discretion, because him allowing text messages to come in based on this questioning, that's harsh. In my opinion, that is very harsh. Very harsh, because I don't think Priya's questions were even hard to be understood. I don't think Priya's questions could have even suggested to the jury that Grace Jabbari was being deliberately coy with the police, because it's already established so many times that she told the police what had actually happened. She told the police she wasn't trying to protect Majors or anything like that. So the judge making the decision to say, oh, okay, you did open the window prayer, so bring it in. You didn't even it's not as if it was a trade-off in which, okay, we're gonna bring the audio in, and then you realize, oh, that could be a mistake, so let's bring in the text to equalize it, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes that actually happens. I made this wrong decision, so let me make another wrong decision so that it can level the playing field. Sometimes that actually happen, and judges realize that and say, okay, I'll give something to the opposing team. That didn't happen here. The reason why I say sometimes that happen is because I saw it in depth. We heard, especially with some of the hearsay objections that the judge was rude doing, etc. I felt that in that case there was a bit of give and take there, here and there. But in this case, I don't think, I mean, reading through this, if they let it in because of this line of questioning, because that's what was reported, if they let it in for this line of questioning, that is confusing. In my opinion, that is very confusing. But anyway, going back to the testimony, don't forget to hit the like button, folks. Yeah, I find that confusing. Okay, so yeah, we went through all of this. So he says, and you did make the statement under the penalty of perjury, correct? Everything I wrote on it was true to my head at the time. At that point, isn't it a fact that you were above you being treated by doctors? You stated that you did not remember how you were sustained those injuries. I don't recall my exact words. Sorry. In sum and substance, did you say that you didn't recall? Do you remember how you sustained these? Do you remember? Did you remember how you sustained these injuries? It was overruled. Can you repeat the question? In sum and substance, isn't it true that you told the doctors at Bellevue that you did not remember how you sustained your injuries? I didn't tell them the full detailed description of how my injuries occurred. That is correct. I am asking you the specific question. Did you tell the doctors at Bellevue that you didn't remember how you sustained those injuries? Objection, your honor. Which doctors at what time? No, that's all right. You could answer. I don't recall my exact words. I do not know. I didn't go into to extreme detail 100%. I did not. I was trying to protect him. So at this point, if sidebar for a second, if the Texans came in for this point, this specific line of questioning in regards to the doctors, not the police, this can make sense as to why the it can make sense as to why the Texas with the doctors and all those things came in. Because this was a direct, and she's saying, no, I was trying to protect him. No, I was doing this. But the massive caveat and now I'm understanding why Danny was adamant on the appeal being abuse of discretion was this particular fact. There was an officer with her. Officer Lucero was with her, and she told Lucero he was there at the scene as well. There is no way you could allow, based on everything that we learned about what she told the police and what she's now telling at the hospital, it's inconsistent anyway from the jump, but it doesn't justify you bringing previous texts in to say this is why she was not telling the doctors what was happening. Bro, she's already told the police. Would it matter what she told the doctors at that point? That wouldn't matter. So why are you bringing this in? She's always said that I told the police this is what happened, this is what happened, this is what happened. But anyway, that's just me. I don't know out of this works, but I'm saying what I'm trying to say is that the police made the arrest based on the fact that she told them, and she admitted to this. She told them he caused the injuries to my ear, he choked me, which is where the strangulation charges came from, and the finger. But we also learned that she also said I didn't know what caused the injuries to my ear, I didn't know what caused the injuries to my fingers, all those things. She said that, but in court she was saying something else. That does not warrant those text messages to come in. She's saying she was trying to protect him, but an arrest came from somewhere. Okay. I hate this case so much, man. It's so annoying. So fucking annoying because I know. Sorry for the swearing. I'm just tired. So flipping annoying. Just to be clear, while the doctors at Bellevue were treating you, Mr. Majors was not there, correct? He had been arrested. Miss Jabbari, after you left Bellevue, you had a phone call with Chloe, the woman you met at the club, correct? At some point, yes. And isn't it true that you asked Chloe if she knows anything about you about your ear that nightclub sustained? Isn't it true that night you were confused when you spoke to Chloe about your ear that got hurt? I still am, It's not very easy. I never had an ear injury like that before. Isn't it true that you asked Chloe if she noticed anything about your ear at the club? Objection. At the club, no, that's overruled. I don't recall. What do you mean you don't recall? Please bring in that text. Please bring it in. Oh wait, no, it's a phone call. So Ms. Jabbari, on March 27th, 2 days after these two events, you met with the district attorney's office, correct? I was in the UK, so we had a Zoom conversation. I believe that's what you're referring to. And isn't it true that you told these district attorneys on March 27th that you did not remember how you got your injuries? Perhaps. I can't really remember. It was a whole whirlwind at that point. I can't. Oh my God, this is annoying me. I hate liars so much, man. You can tell she's lying. Isn't it the fact that you told these district attorneys that you had a lot to drink that night? As I said, I can't remember. I imagine I told them I was drinking. Yeah, I didn't lie. Isn't it the fact that the conversation you were having was you describing the events inside the car with Mr. Majors that night? No, I wouldn't say that. I would say the conversation was a lot broader about the whole history of our relationship. But they did specifically ask what happened in the car, correct? I don't recall, unfortunately. It was a long conversation 2 days after this had all happened. I was exhausted. I can't remember my word for word conversation with them. This is because it's likely that if she told, sidebar for a second, it's likely if she had told the district attorney, if she was to share what she had told the district attorney, it would likely be more consistent with the events happening in car 2. It's a hunch, but I feel like I feel like that's the most likely scenario, that she actually does recall, but she knows she told them the events of happening on car 2, so she's just trying to forget all that. But the DA knows this. So if the DA knows this and looks at the CCTV and be like, we can still win this case, let's just go for it. That's a massive point. You're not supposed to do that. It's basically the point. You're not supposed to do that. She said she doesn't recall anything, but she remembers everything. Oh yeah. Sounds like a little someone that we know that that goes by the name of Amber. I'm not gonna say anymore. Amber. No, it sounds like that. Oh, she remembers everything. Oh no, but I don't remember this part. Oh no, but I don't remember this. Anyway, back to the testimony. He says 2 days after it happened, isn't it a fact that you said your injuries are on the right side and you thought it was the scrappiness of the movements that caused them? Correct. If that's what you I don't know, I can't remember. As I said, I can't remember all them at all. Ms. Jabbari, you met with the district attorney's office, or you spoke with the district attorneys again on April 25th, correct? I can't remember the exact date, but if that's yes, potentially. And isn't it a fact that on April 25th you said that when you got out of the car the second time, it's when Mr. Majors push your body back hard enough to make you sit back? That's correct, yes, but that's inconsistent. That's really inconsistent. That you can't see that on anywhere. Let's move on. And isn't it a fact on that date you told these district attorneys that you were freaked out by the blip in your memory? I think I was really shocked at how in the media the aftermath and the whirlwind of what happened became a huge press storm, how overwhelming it was, and how things were coming back in this way. I've never experienced that before. Yeah, it was. I was overwhelmed and confused. It was an interesting time. Must note that she did say in the body cam, as Priya put out there in the press, that she was asking the officers, would this be in the media? Okay. My question is, did you use the word I was freaked out by the blip in my memory? I don't remember my exact words. I'm sorry. Were you freaked out by the blip in your memory? What blip in my memory are you talking about? Did you have a blip in your memory? Yeah, things like yeah, things like coming back to me. The more I calm down and relax and allow myself to not be worried about him and start realizing I escaped my situation. What are you talking about, man? Isn't it the fact that on April 25th you told these district attorneys that you did not remember the pain in your ear at the bar or club? I could have said that, yes, Ms. Jabbari. On May 9th, 45 days after this incident, you made another statement about what happened in the car with Mr. Majors. Do you recall that? No. A statement like a written statement? Yes. That's one statement with Ms. Galloway sent you. Yeah, can I see her again? But I do have a recollection, and yes. Sure, I wouldn't have given it to her, man. I would just, I would. Okay, we're moving on. I'm handing the witness what's been marked for identification as Defense Exhibit 506, and Your Honor, there's one for you, DX 506, to the shown to witness for identification purposes. Yes, I recognize this, and this is the second page of Defense 506 is the statement that you made on May 9th of this year, correct? Yeah. If this is what it says, then yes. It's a statement. Yes, I get a bit confused whether it's which way around. So I write differently being English. Shut up. If that's not your handwriting on the date, is that not your handwriting on the date? No, it is. Yeah, but just give me a second. You do month, first day, second. Correct. Yes. So 9th of May. 2023. Okay, that's quite confusing. It can be confusing. Yeah, you made this statement under the penalty of perjury, correct? I believe so, yes. And isn't it true that on May 9th, under the penalty of perjury, you said that you observed Mr. Major strike you with his hand across your right ear, causing a substantial pain and a laceration? Objection behind your ear grounds is not in evidence. Just ask the question. Don't read. Isn't it a fact on the date? So facts not in evidence. All right. Isn't it a fact that on May 9th, 2023, you said that you observed Mr. Major strike you with a hand across your right ear, causing a substantial pain and laceration behind your ear? That's correct. Case over. This should be case over. There is nowhere saying this. There is no way. Oh my God. This should be case over, but you don't have any proof of this. Oh my God, this is annoying me, man. And again, you signed that under the penalty of perjury, correct? Yes, correct. And you told this jury, and this is transcript 12-18, Your Honor, that you were looking when Mr. Majors made this motion towards your head, and so you didn't see what he did, correct? Yes, that's correct. Yes. Miss Jabbari, you've testified that Mr. Majors, after car one, he picked you up and slammed you into the car, correct? After car one, yes. And that when he picked you off the ground, that he threw you against the car and it hit the back of your head, right? He threw me into the car, yes. And the back of my head hit against the top. Whatever you want to call it, the top of the bill of the door. You testified that it was the part of your head that is the top of your head that yesterday was near the ponytail at the top, correct? Yeah, the back of my head. And you testified that it hurt, right? Yes, it did hurt. And you testified that you bumped, that you had a bump there. Is that right? That's what I did. Yes, sir. If you could please show us people exhibit, and this is their completion at 218. Just to be clear. And you testified you were facing Mr. Majors when he picked you up and when he put you in the car. Therefore, the back of your head hit hit the car. Is that right? I believe so. Yes. Is that yes or no? That's it. I believe so. Yes. This is a completely inconsistent statement, guys. You slap me with an open hand to cause the laceration to my ear. That's that's inconsistency right there. Sorry about this, guys. Let me just adjust my mic. Oh no. No. Oh, I need a new mic stand now. Definitely need to go and buy one. Oh, it's falling apart. 1 second. Okay, I should hold it steady. Right. Oh, don't need to buy one after all. Yay. Okay, moving on. And you testified that it's the same video that the people showed you, right? That we all saw it. What was that? You testified that this event happened during the video that the people showed you. That this video we're looking at right now. I can't work out. Maybe just ask the question. It's confusing unless you raise it a different way. Your statement is that we all saw the video of Mr. Majors picking you up and hitting you the back of your head, right? I believe so, yes. If you could please play 218. This is the video you're referring to. Is that right? Is that the video? Yes. If you could go to 241 of the people's video, do you need a minute? I just don't want to watch it again, if that's okay. What do you mean? So you don't want to watch a body cam video again? You don't want to watch... I hate this fragile white girl act that she's doing, because it doesn't make sense. Like, what kind of trauma is this that you watched and done all this from the direct? It was all fine, all good, and now, oh no, sorry. I hope you're seeing a pattern here, guys. Just go back a little bit. I hope you're seeing a pattern here, because she seems to be doing this. And the reason why I said white before is because I do think, I mean, we can't keep escaping from this. We can't keep ignoring this. There is that element into this where I really do believe that she really leaned in on our race, and she leaned in on the stereotypes. I really believe that. And we're seeing it here because it is no, like, she said all these things. We've seen it, but she's trying her best to, she's now, based on the pattern I'm seeing when it comes to the inconsistent statements. Oh, I've broken down, I've done all this. Anyway, let me move on. I do need to ask you about it. It's okay, you can ask me about it. Well, Ms. Jabbari, did you see in people's own Zoom replay that in fact you have your back to Mr. Majors and this is your hair that we see? I don't believe that to be true. Can we see it again? My back hits against the car, but because you see my body bend this way, my body doesn't bend that way. Can we see it again? I might be sick. Sidebar for a second. Again, like I said, like when the inconsistencies, because the main inconsistency that's coming out here in this particular bit is the inconsistency in relation to the May 9th statement to the prosecution. She literally said he struck me with an open hand that lacerated my ear. What she is now offering is a new kind of evidence that her back of the head had an injury to it. There was a bruise on the back of her head. It should realistically rule all doubt of the laceration to the ear. But the most important part out of all of this testimony is when these inconsistencies are brought out in each and every one of her testimony, she acts as if, oh no, oh God, I can't watch this anymore. Oh God, please save me. Let me just go to the chat real quick. Daisy Bell writes, how can she write in that statement months later that she observed him but testify that she wasn't looking at him? Yep, good catch. That's true. That's very true. Is she, so I'm clear, she got her injuries from Jonathan hand to hand combat, or was it a door frame? Which one is it? Guys, help me out here. Help me. Which one is it? Help us. Help me and Sheed, please. I want to know as well. I want to know as well because it's not clear. If she's gonna stick to the door frame story, well, that doesn't cause your ear injury. Case over. Like it doesn't cause your hand injury because you have claimed not only to not, like, you told the police not only that the hand injury did not come from Jonathan, that you did not know how the injury from, you were acting all days, and then you told the police, you did not mention the hand injury to the police, but you told them that he hit you and strangled you, like, which is why I took pictures of your neck. We have this in, again, I don't know how the jury reached this conclusion. I have no idea, because this is the most unreliable witness that you can have. But at the same time, the inconsistencies alone, because the foundation that they're trying to break, the inconsistency alone should put a lot of pause to anyone that's thinking that there's something to this. Anyway, got back to the testimony. Ms. Jabbari, you and Mr. Majors are both facing the car where when he puts you in the car. Isn't that correct? Your Honor, asked and answered. I'll lie this one last time. To me, it looks like the back of me. If it's not, I don't know what to say. I've answered. That's what I believe it was. I'm basing it on what it felt like. This video, I don't want to watch that again. So, Ms. Jabbari, when you wrote on May 9th that you observed Majors push you back into the vehicle with both of his right hands, causing you to fall backwards, that wasn't true, right? That was true. I was talking about when he pushed me into the second car. Don't even see that. Where is that in evidence? I believe that's what I was referring to. He pushed me then as well. That was inside the car. What you said he pushed you in the car. Not in the car, sorry, into the car. I didn't know what. Moving on. I believe that was card 2. Yes. So you weren't referring to this. Is that your testimony? I'm slightly confused with the timings of everything that you're saying, but there was multiple pushes, multiple injuries. This reminds me of Amber Heard so much, but moving on. Ms. Jabbari, in that same document that you signed on May 9th, where you said that you observed Mr. Major strike you with his hand across your right ear. Yes. In fact, you did not see Mr. Major strike you. Isn't that true? I believe that to be kind of legal terminology for filling out this statement. You're really going with this? This is your defense? All right, okay. All right, fine. Let's go with it. The same way that she didn't know what strangulation charges entail. Sure, let's go with that. Let's go with it. Gracie's world. Anything goes in Gracie's world. That's what I believe. So if I say I further observe this, it doesn't mean I was sitting looking. It's part of a sensing structure. I want to see the redirect. I want to see the redirect. Did you tell ADA Galloway that you didn't actually see it? It was understood. It was understood between us. That language was what we were using. I'm confused. You signed it on the oath, correct? I did, yes. Under the penalty of perjury, I did, yes. Ms. Jabbari, when you met Mr. Majors in the summer of 2021, when you were on the set of Ant-Man, you were living with roommates, correct? Objection, relevance sustained. The summer of 2022, you lived in a house with Mr. Majors in London that you describe as nicer than any house that you've been in, correct? Yes. And you didn't pay anything to live there, correct? I didn't know. I did not know. And through your relationship, Mr. Majors took you on a trip to Hawaii for your birthday. Is that right? He did, yes. And he took you on a trip to Atlanta, correct? He was living in Atlanta. And he paid for you to come and visit him. Yeah, he did, yes. And to Los Angeles, yes. And Texas, yes. And he flew back and forth from London to New York, right? Objection to relevance, overruled. Is that right? Yes. And he flew you first class, correct? Yes, at times. And in fact, you were sending photos of yourself drinking champagne on the flights, right? Yes. Some abuse this is. Oh wow. Let me try and think in the sidebar. Let me try and think. Let me think in Gracie's mind. This was him showing me or psychologically abusing me so that I could stay with him and have no choice but to conform to his mannerisms. How am I doing, guys? How am I doing? Is that, would that be accurate, unfair depiction of Grace Jabbari? Let me know in the chat. So the Dove says, waiting for her to mention how dirty the car door was. So the Dove says, hi, I've been lurking, getting work done. Hey, don't get in trouble with your boss now. wait, or do you mean like housework? Anyway, regardless, welcome to the stream, Sir Dove. I'm glad that you're tuned in with us. Thank you so much. Also, guys, if you like what you're seeing and you're deriving a lot of value from this stream, consider sending us a super chat, or if you're watching on replay, super thanks. It will really help with the financial upkeep of the channel. It will really help us. It will really help us. I just thought I'd say that if you would like to support the channel, these are the means for you to do so. Also, you can also consider becoming a member of the channel for as little as 99 pence. Again, it goes with helping us, and you get awesome perks like watching videos early, and bonus content as well. So once again, all of you being here is really appreciative, and I really love that. I appreciate you being on the stream with me. But yeah, so I just thought I say all of that. So but yeah, thank you. I just thought I informed you of all those things in how you can support the channel. So anyway, thank you for everyone that's been here so far, and I hope you're enjoying the stream. Back to the chat for a second. So that's Daisy Bao says that sounds about right of our delusions. Yeah. I appreciate you for commending my acting skills. So the Dove says, such a beast, giving a lot of money and gifts. Oh my gosh, right? This guy is an abuser, guys. He gives her things. That's abuse. Let's go back to the testimony. And when you were with Mr. Majors, he paid for everything, correct? And I don't know about everything, but most things, yes, very generous. And last year, around this time, for your 30th birthday, he flew 7 of your friends from London to New York. Correct? That's correct. Guys, sidebar, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't abusers do their best to isolate their victims from their friends? I mean, if we're putting the Coretta Scott recording in context, based on everything he was doing, this wouldn't happen, correct? He would be keeping her far away from your friends because he wanted to control her drinking, right? Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. I'm just trying to compute everything. My puny brain is reading here. But anyway, moving back. And he flew them first class, correct? Business class. Oh, that's even better than first class. Business class is much better than first class. For her to, I don't know, why would you volunteer that information? But continue. Business class, yes. And he put them all in a hotel on the Lower East Side. Not even Upper East Side, Lower East Side. To be honest, I actually don't know. I always assume Upper East Side would be the rough area of New York, while the Lower East Side is the nice area. So if you guys know New York, please let me know. I actually don't know. I actually don't know this fact. So let me know what the Lower East Side is like. But yeah, and he put them all in a hotel on the Lower East Side for several days. Correct? He did, yes, and he in fact paid for the several days of lunches, dinners. Correct? When he would come to dinner with us, he would pay for dinner. Yes. Such an abuser. And he sent you and your friends to a Mariah Carey concert for your birthday, correct? Correct. What an abuser. And he paid for your birthday outfit, which was approximately 8,000, or maybe most likely hearsay. Mr. Majors paid for your birthday outfit, correct? Yes. And when you were living with him in that penthouse apartment, you saw the apartment listing before you moved in, correct? I saw videos of the apartment, yes. And you knew how much the rent of the apartment was, right? Objection, relevant, sustained. You didn't pay to live in that apartment, correct? That's correct, yes. Ms. Jabbari, as of October 22, you referred to yourself as Mrs. Majors, correct? As subject is relevant. Well, it was brought up on direct about them getting married, so you could ask the question. Well, that's fair. That's fair from the judge. Is that right? I didn't refer to myself solely as Mrs. Majors. No. What was that? What was the answer? Was it solely? Solely. Did you ever refer to yourself as Mrs. Majors? He used to call me that. All right, let's move on. He used to call me Mrs. Majors in messages, and then I would sometimes use it as well. Although I was quite adamant that I wanted to keep my surname if we were ever to get married. Let me go to the chat real quick. Thank you so much, Saeed, for this info. Lower East, very expensive. Is very expensive where money resides. Okay, great. This is interesting because I actually know. I'm gonna go on a slight tangent here. I'm an history buff. I used to research a lot on the dynasties of Egypt, and I realized in ancient Egypt, the Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. Upper Egypt was very destitute and poor. Lower Egypt was where the kings reside. So it's quite interesting that is Lower East Side of New York is where the rich people will live, and Upper East Side is because I know the Upper East Side is definitely the poor part. I heard it in so many rap songs. So it's the parallel is very interesting. It's very interesting. The way the naming of this, I don't know. It's just an interesting parallel there. I'm gonna go back to the testimony. Thank you so much, Saeed, for that context. Sorry for that information. Sorry. Isn't it true that on January 14, 2023, you told Mr. Majors that he was the only man you would change your name for and refer to yourself as Mrs. Majors? I would have to know the context, but it upset him a lot when I said I would keep my what? I would keep my name, and it would appease his mood if I said I would take his name significantly. Oh my god, this is so bad. Okay. Maybe there's truth somewhere there. And she did. Okay, fair enough. Maybe there's truth somewhere there. I don't know. I wasn't there. Isn't it true that you did tell you did say that Mr. Majors was the only man that would change that you would change your name for, and then call yourself Mr. Majors? Majors, yes, potentially. Ms. Jabari, isn't it true that as of November 2nd, 2022, you said that you can't wait to be Mrs. Majors? Objection charge. Let's move on. That's sustained. Miss Jabari, isn't it true that on January 25th, 2023, you asked Mr. Majors for financial help because of a tax bill from the UK of £20,000? Wow, what were you doing to get a tax bill of that much? I don't recall that. I'm handing what would anything refresh your recollection as to whether you said that? Yes. Handing witness was been marked for identification as defense exhibit 304, defense 304 for identification being shown to the witness. Miss Chaudhry, if that refreshes our recollection, do you want to read it back, or do you want to read it? Read back the last question. So does that document just help refresh our recollection? Not really. Not really regarding that question. All right, that doesn't refresh our recollection. Isn't it true you were having financial difficulties as of January 25th, 2023 because of the tax bill in the UK of £20,000? Objection as to representation on different grounds that's sustained. Okay. All right, moving on. Isn't it true that on February 23rd, you asked as of 2023, you asked Mr. Majors to pay for a hotel for you to stay in a few days while you were in the UK? Can you say that again? Isn't it interesting that all these questions leading up to the event, that is all Mr. Major's generosity, when she testified earlier that she's been living in fear of this guy? Sure. Isn't it true that on February 23rd, 2023, you asked Mr. Majors to pay for a hotel for you to stay in the UK for a few days? 1 month, February. There may have been a few days when he paid for a hotel in February. I can't remember. Would anything refresh your recollection? Well, I remember there was a point in February when he did pay for a hotel for a few days. So that's the answer. So is that the answer? Isn't it a fact that you asked him to? I don't know whether he offered or whether I asked. I'm not sure. Would anything refresh your recollection? Yes, that would. I need a witness that has been marked as defense 305. Defense 305 being shown to the witness. My memory is refreshed. Isn't it true that you asked Mr. Majors on February 23rd to pay 2023, by the way, a month before this whole thing happening? February 23rd is literally a month. It's literally a month and 2 days. Okay. To pay for a hotel for a few days while you were in the UK. Yeah, I asked him for some help with that. Yes. Isn't it true that as recently as February 27th, 2023, you refer to yourself as Mrs. Majors? I don't know why that's sustained. Maybe facts on the evidence, relevance. Ms. Jabari, isn't it true that on March 24th, 2023, before you went to the play with Mr. Majors, you referred to him as your perfect man? Probably. I don't recall, but I don't know why I wouldn't have said that at that point. Why is because you were living with him. You're living in fear with him. That's why. And moving on. And that's because he was your perfect man. He was my boyfriend and I loved him, yes. But you did use the word perfect man. Yes. Later that evening is all of the things we've been discussing here when you go to the playwright that same evening. What is your question? Sorry. Later the same evening, when you refer to Mr. Majors as your perfect man, is when you leave for the play, right? Yes, I think so. To be honest, this context explains why she went bat insane. In regards to the text message, it explains perfectly the context. It explains why Jonathan would run. Because, well, I mean, it kind of gives us a different idea of what was going on in the relationship post the old recording. Because at this point, why would Jonathan run like that? she is describing everything. Everything doesn't seem bad based on this sidebar for a second. Everything doesn't seem bad based on this. Based on what we just read, it doesn't seem bad. It seems like it was a functional relationship where she was actually happy. Her friends was being flown out everywhere. She was getting everything she wanted, etc. Why would Jonathan run? If that was the context, what was happening? Because I'm sorry, that it seems like fear from his side anyway. And he said granted he said the same thing, but I'm literally just I'm trying to marry everything together here. Why would he run? Why would she say she's living in fear of him when he was doing all these things for her, when things were positive? I mean, to a point of perfect man, of describing it like that. Why would he cheat? Doesn't seem very healthy to me. And to me, based on everything that I've known in the case so far, it seems like the unhealthy one was likely her. I don't know. You don't, I don't know. Unless he was doing all those things because she knows what would happen if he didn't do it. Who knows? And she was so the Dove says, and she was a jobless bum who didn't get her act together and work her chosen career. Facts. Because now it's a different picture being painted in regards to Holly Blakey's testimony that we read in part 2 of this. Holly Blakey's testimony specifically said she started hanging around with less. Well, if you're seeing all this happen to you, maybe it's not because of abuse. Maybe it's because she is likely just enjoying life with him more than you. She seems very transactional as a person anyway. From what I'm reading on here, it seems like that. Secondly, if I must say, based on the weight loss, because she did testify to that again, if she describes him as the perfect man, could easily be explained of, well, I can't keep losing weight. I must keep this perfect man one way or the other because I know I have to compete with other women. So if she, again, I think based on her reaction, she has always had an insecurity in there. Again, I'm not diagnosing anything. I'm not a professional. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. You know that already. Seems to me that it's plausible that she just felt a lot of insecurities and she felt that she couldn't keep the man. Damn it! I do need a new stand. But she felt like she couldn't keep him, so she felt like she has to do all these extra things on top of. Well, I mean, and also being explained away by the fact that hey, she's a dancer and she would need to keep the weight off to actually perform at an at an at an efficient rate. You know. So 1 second. Yep, I need a new stand. Oh, guys, my stand is broke. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's not broken. I don't know. Is it broken? Okay, nope, it's not broken. All right. Okay, I can't lift it anymore. Okay, it's fine now. Okay, guys. Okay, I'm back. Okay. That's just my view on it. So just my thoughts. Well, I'm glad you're sharing them. So Dove, she worked on the film, got paid well, but went have to have to remember taxes, but they didn't keep breaking up. Grace ran to get a job ASAP after relationship because she didn't have a perfect man. Okay, Jonathan the banker. So Dove, I'm so glad that you're very vocal on this because like I said, I know you from the previous streams and the previous work in regards to Debt Be Heard. So I'm really happy that there are people who enjoy my Debt Be Heard coverage also enjoying this one as well. And I really do appreciate all your input on this. Thank you so much, and thank you every single one of you. Seed, Daisy Bell for and Miss Queen TV for giving your views in the chat. I really do appreciate that. So back to the transcript reading. Also hit that like button as well. Back to the transcript reading. Would anything refresh your recollection as to whether is the same day? She said, I think so. Is that enough for you? Yeah, then I'll go. We have discussed all the events of that happened after you went to the play and you got in the car 3 times. You went to the club and then you got home. Isn't it true that Mr. Majors, after Mr. Majors sent you the messages ending your relationship. The first message you sent him was, I'm not an idiot, have fun with her, and whoever you are effing, I'm worth more than that. Have fun. I'm gone now. Yes, I did send that. Isn't it true that once you arrive back to the apartment, you call Mr. Majors over 30 times? Yes, that's true. Isn't it true that within those calls you were texting Mr. Majors to call you? I was, yes. And isn't it, but you just, why would you text him that when you when anyway, moving on. And isn't it true that the next text you sent to Mr. Majors was, I guess you're with Cleopatra. How could you do this to me? What was the point of getting this apartment and pretending to have this life together? Yes, I sent that. And isn't it true? After that, you continue to call Mr. Majors, right? I believe so. Yes. And isn't it true that when you woke up around 7, you start calling Mr. Majors again? Potentially, yes. And he didn't pick up, right? I can't recall. Maybe we did speak that morning. I can't remember now. Okay. And isn't it true that when he didn't respond, you said, I'm leaving. I just need you to call me. Yes. And then you called him a few more times, right? I really can't remember, sorry. And then you sent him the text messages that you refer to as dramatic with almost of Swain, right? Sorry, will you say that again? Then you sent him the text messages that you called dramatic when describing them to Officer Swain. I think all the text messages I sent him were dramatic, sad to say. But you sent him text messages that prompted him to call the police. Objection sustained. And the answer will be stricken. I don't know what she answered, so I don't know. Miss Jabbari, isn't it true that after Mr. Majors was arrested and while you were at Bellevue around 6 o'clock, you said to him, "Please let me know you're okay when you get this." They assure me you won't be charged, and you were referring to the district attorneys, right? Objection sustained. What? Isn't it true that please let me know when you get this, they assure me you won't be charged? Isn't that true? I think I think you worded it slightly wrong at the end, but yes to that. Ms. Jabari, would it refresh your question to see anything? She didn't say that her regression needed to be refreshed. I'm sorry. Then I misheard. Okay. Isn't it true that you said to Mr. Majors, they assured me you won't be charged at 6 p.m. on March 25th via text? Yes, yes. And isn't it true that you also texted him at 6 p.m. Said that and said they had to arrest as protocol when they saw the injuries on me and they knew we had a fight? Is that right? That's what I said. And you also said in a text to him, I'm so angry that they did, and I'm sorry that you're in this position. We'll make sure nothing happens about this, right? Well, Mrs. Majors, right? It makes sense. She was breaking up with him, and now she's like, we, all of these things. Okay, let's move on. That's what I said, yes. And you also said to Mr. Majors, I told them it was my fault for trying to grab your phone. I only just got out of the hospital. Just call me when you're out, correct? Yes. Um, and then half an hour later, you text him again. I love you, right? Bear in mind they're over at this point. Yes. and you didn't receive a response to those text messages, right? Not to those, no. And then around 9 that evening, you texted Mr. Majors again, correct? I believe so, yes. and around 9, you said at 9:32:59, you texted Mr. Majors and said they just called again to check on me, and I reiterated this was not an attack. They did not have my blessing on okay, on any of these charges placed. I read the paper they gave me about objection breaker a little bit. Isn't it true that you said that? I did say that, yes. Isn't it true that you also said I read the paper they gave me about strangulation, and I said plumb blank this did not occur and should be removed immediately? Isn't that true? I said that, yes. And isn't it also true that you said the judge is definitely going to be told about this? Isn't that true? Yes. And you also said she ensured this to me. Is that right? Yes. And you're referring to Miss Galloway? Yes. And you said, I know you have the best team. There's nothing to worry about. I just want to know what I'm doing all of my end. Objection as to form. What do you mean form? That's a little braggadocious. but you could ask a question if you want. Well, I guess it's how Priya was asking a question. Isn't it true that you said that? I don't remember what you just said now, but it would be in the text message that I sent to him. Isn't it true that you also said to Mr. Majors that you wanted the judge to know that the origin of his 911 was to do with collapsing and okay, objection, judge, probably characterization, ask the question again. Isn't it true that you also told Mr. Majors that you said to the judge, sorry, that you said to Miss Galloway that she should tell the judge to know that the origin of this call was to do with collapsing and passing out? Yeah, if that's what the text says, that's what. But but she told the police. This is guilt. I'm sorry. This is guilt. Point blank. Moving on. Miss Chaudhry. Two more questions I'm watching. Thank you. Ms. Jabbari, Mr. Majors did not call you after you sent him this messages on March 25th, right? Because he had Priya Chaudhry in our ear saying, don't respond to anything that she says. I'm pretty sure Priya was begging him not to do anything. He didn't call me, no. And he didn't. Wait, I don't know actually if that was totally true. Yeah, I had a lot of missed unknown numbers. Oh, now you're just throwing that in here? Sure. Okay. Oh, through direct. None of this was mentioned, but now, conveniently, I have missed unknown numbers. I would love to see that call log. He also contacted my parents to try and get hold of me. I'm asking if he called you. I don't know. I had a lot of numbers calling me with an unknown number. Could have been him. I don't know. See what she's doing? She's basically testifying that he violated the protection order because the protection order says do not contact her. But now she didn't offer this information. No one, all through all this time, directs everything. Now you just throw it in here? Fair enough. Tell me she wasn't coached. I'm 100% certain that she just throw this in. If this happened, anyway, you did not speak to him. I did not know, and I didn't answer any of these questions. Yeah, I didn't answer any of these calls, and he did not text you back on March 25th. He didn't text me. He didn't text you on March 26th, did he? No. And he did not call you and speak to you on March 26th, right? He could have called me. I did not answer. I did not speak to him. When you say he could have called you, that's question 7. Church, did he call you? Did you see his number? I know he was trying to get in contact with me. He contacted my parents, and I had a lot of numbers calling me, unknown numbers, like number removed. I don't know who that was. He's never spoken to you again, right? He texted me, yes. He never spoken to you again. Objection, judge, can we approach? Come up. Okay, they approach. They go back now. Ms. Jabbari, 2 days after you sent me Mr. Majors those text messages on March 25th, you had a Zoom call with ADA Galloway and Perez, right? I believe yes. It was a closed event. I'll pass the witness to your honor. All right, Ms. Jabbari, remember you're still on the oath and you're back tomorrow. I can assure you, tomorrow is going to be your last day here. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Have a good night. So we're gonna close out there. Thank you so much. Okay. So we didn't get to the redirect. I was hoping to get to the redirect today, but this took a lot longer than that I thought. But based on everything that I've seen here, I can conclude that Grace Jabbari is a liar. If I was ever on the fence, I know now that a lot of this has been she sits on a throne of lies. A lot of this case has been built on a lie. I can tell. Because she's testifying that she fainted. She has text messages that she fainted. But she told the police, I don't know. I don't know if I've fallen. She told the police, they asked her, did you fall? All this, did you come from a fall? Whatever. She said, I don't know if I've fallen. Where's the fainting? You don't think the police, I'm telling you, the police do not assess Jonathan if it wasn't for her saying he choked me, if it wasn't for her saying he slapped my ear, if it wasn't for her, he he bashed my head in exactly, which is exactly what she told the DA as well. If she doesn't tell the police these things, the arrest doesn't happen. But she did. We know that. Officer Swain testified to it. She testified to even having the events in the car play out. So that's why, like that's why they arrested him. But she also made it seem like all these things happened on that day, at that time, and at the car. From what I'm reading here, from all the evidence brought forward, based on Officer Swain's testimony, things were happening at the car, and she was found in the closet. She didn't share why she was on in the closet based on Officer Swain's testimony. She wasn't really forthcoming why she was in the closet, etc. They asked her if she thought she doesn't remember, but she knows she fainted. Anyway, let me just read out the chats. Amber Vibes called me 30 times. It wasn't me that making me do this. The lawyers, exactly, because that was Amber Heard's case. She basically said the lawyers made me go to press the charges, etc. Made me do all that. The lawyers. Then it was first the lawyers. Then it was Laura Wasser. Meanwhile, Laura Wasser was trying to get hold of her of her legal team on the 26th in the morning. They didn't respond to her at all. No communications, no nothing. And then DVRO next day. I'm putting all of this in the part 3 of my docu-series. I can't wait to release that to all of you. It should be out in, I'm targeting next week, targeting now that I am on the last leg of releasing the last few interviews. I'm targeting next week for release. But that's just, to me, that's just really interesting. That's just really interesting, the parallels with this case, because I'm 100% sure she just wants to stick the knife in at this point and just end it, like end him. What she couldn't do the first time, she's doing it here. Why the police? Again, if it was in relation to the doctor that the Texas came in, because we know they came in. If it was in relation to the doctor, then there's a possible case for abuse of discretion, or at least an error in introducing, because I don't, reading all through all this, I don't see what basis you have, because she already told the police the arrest already happened. Why would she need to protect him further if she knew the arrest happened in the hospital? She knew. The officer was there. There's facts in evidence for this. Why would the judge then rule in, okay, bring this text in that was kept out originally, even though it's established that she already knew that the arrest happened? What was they protecting him? The arrest has already happened. The protecting would have been when the police was there, but the arrest already happened. Anyway, Daisy Bao says, so you do know what strangulation means, because how can you say to him that you told him point blank that did not happen? Very good point, Daisy. Very good point. Yet she testified, I'm paraphrasing, that she didn't understand it. Yeah. She didn't understand the language. What she actually testified was she didn't understand the language or what strangulation entails in legal terms. That's what she was trying to say. But it's pretty conclusive here. I mean, if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, great catches, Daisy. Daisy, great catch. She said unanswered missed phone calls, which is a marketing call. It could be anything. For her to even say she called my parents, he called my parents. I'm sorry, on direct exam. This, if he did all that, this is proof. At least proof anyway, that this guy was a creep or someone that likes to be controlling, etc. That he would do, like, there would have been a pattern of this. But now all of a sudden, oh, voluntary supervision, jury disregard everything you heard. This is what happened. Again, How the jury arrived at this is beyond me. But anyway, I'm gonna close that right here. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. If you're watching on replay, make sure you hit the like button, and also make sure you also share this stream as well, so that all your friends, Bigfoot, anyone would know about it. Thank you everyone that has utilized the chat for this stream. I will see you tomorrow for the redirect, and most likely Officer Strix. Tomorrow could likely be the finale, and I hope it's the finale tomorrow, because it's been a wild ride. But I can't listen to this girl anymore. I can't. I know she's lying. I can tell she's lying. Like this is not even something that would happen. This is something that happened last year, and the trial happened 8 months later. You can't have forgotten all of this. You can't have made statements that he strike you at the back of your ear. There is no. I'm sorry. But anyway, I just thought, let me end it here. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 10 p.m. UK time, or 5 o'clock Eastern time. I will post in the community tab, so make sure you watch out for that. I'll definitely put a post out of the times that we're gonna go live, and the details of the next stream. So yeah, again, it's a code read. All of these things, like, it's just, as I'm reading, I don't know what's coming, and I don't know anything to this. So all my reactions and everything, they're all like all authentic to what I'm reading, because this is bizarre. I did not even see her volunteering all this information about by the parents. But anyway, let me close down on that. Make sure you check out the channels for updated interviews, etc. Also check out the other live streams that we've done. We call a lot of Debbie Heard and Jennifer Majors, and they're all wrapped up in a neat little package in a playlist form. So do check out the work that we do. And another live stream is coming tomorrow before Jonathan Majors, and that is two guys, a girl, and the tea, where we discuss current events. We will be discussing Russell Brand. In that live stream, I'll be joined by my co-hosts Given and Merrill to discuss the case of Russell Brand, and basically what it means for the Me Too movement and what has happened with that case. Why is no one talking about it now? So we're going to revisit that case on two guys, a girl, and the tea, because we haven't streamed together in such a long time, and I'm so looking forward to seeing them again. So do check out the other content that we do on the site. Hopefully you can tune in for the 2 streams that we have running that day, which is the Two Guys and a Girl and the last reading of Jonathan Majors. So once again, every single one of you, thank you so much for tuning in. Take care of yourself. Have a great day or evening. Bye bye. Take care of yourself once again.